My child, stop. Do not scroll. Do not look away. This is an alert, and it has found you at the exact moment you needed it. There is a trap set quietly before you, disguised as progress, urgency, and opportunity, and if you listen carelessly, it will cost you more than you can see right now. I am speaking to you with weight because this moment carries weight. What you choose next will shape what follows after. Stay with me. Do not rush this. Every word you are about to hear is placed deliberately, like a hand on your chest saying, "Pay attention." If you leave early, you may miss the very warning meant to protect you. Watch until the end. Your peace depends on it. My child, pause your movement, quiet your thoughts, and let your heart come to stillness, because what is happening in this moment is not accidental, and it is not coincidence disguised as routine. I did not allow your eyes to land here by chance, nor did your fingers arrive at this place without purpose. I have interrupted you intentionally. I stepped into the flow of your day because there are moments when heaven refuses to remain silent, and this is one of them. You may have thought you were simply reading words, passing time, or seeking clarity, but I tell you the truth. This moment was written long before you felt the confusion that led you here. I have watched every step that brought you to this exact intersection. Every delay, every frustration, every unanswered question, every uneasy feeling that followed you like a shadow. None of it was wasted. It was all guiding you here. When I say this is not random, I am not speaking poetically. I am speaking prophetically. There are times when I whisper gently, and there are times when I interrupt forcefully because what lies ahead requires awareness, not autopilot. You have been moving quickly lately, making decisions while tired, weighing options while emotionally stretched, and that is when traps are most effective. So I stop you, not to scare you, but to protect you. You have felt the subtle sense that something is off, that something does not sit right, even if you could not name it. That unease was not anxiety. It was discernment knocking softly, asking you to listen. Too often you have ignored that voice in the past, telling yourself you were overthinking, telling yourself it would pass, telling yourself you could handle whatever came. But today I did not allow that voice to be drowned out. I placed this moment in your path because you are standing closer to a turning point than you realize. Decisions made now will echo forward. I am not saying this to burden you, but to awaken you. You are not behind. You are not late. You are not failing. But you are being invited to see clearly before you step forward blindly. Heaven does not interrupt without reason. I do not pull my child aside without purpose. There is something you are being asked to notice before you proceed, and the fact that you are here means you were willing, even unknowingly, to listen. Now listen closely, my child, because understanding that this is not random changes how you respond to everything that follows. When you realize I have orchestrated this pause, you stop treating it lightly. You stop rushing past it. You stop assuming you will come back later. This moment is a mercy, not a coincidence, and mercy always arrives just before a fall, not after it. You may wonder why I did not warn you sooner, or why the clarity feels sudden, but I tell you this: I speak when your heart is most capable of hearing. Earlier, you might have dismissed it. Earlier, pride or distraction might have filtered my voice into background noise. But now you are ready. You are tired enough to be honest, uncertain enough to be attentive, and humble enough to listen. That is why this interruption feels weighty. You sense that it matters. And you are right. I am not asking you to panic, and I am not asking you to fear what comes next. Fear clouds vision. Instead, I am asking you to honor this moment by staying present within it. Do not rush to conclusions. Do not jump ahead to outcomes. Simply remain here with me and let awareness rise. When I say this is not random, I'm also telling you that you are not alone in this decision-making space. You have not been abandoned to guesswork. You are not expected to rely solely on logic or emotion. I am here guiding, steady, watchful. I have seen what you cannot yet see. I know how close temptation can feel to opportunity, how pressure can disguise itself as destiny. That is why I stepped in now. You are valuable enough to be warned. You are loved enough to be slowed down. And you are capable enough to choose wisely when given truth. This message is the beginning of clarity, not the end of it. It is the opening of your eyes, not the closing of a door. In the moments ahead, you will notice details you previously overlooked. You will feel a stronger distinction between peace and pressure. And as we continue, I will reveal more, not all at once, not overwhelming you, but guiding you step by step, like a father walking beside his child near a dangerous edge. For now, let this settle deep within you. You are here because you were meant to be here, and what happens next depends on whether you treat this interruption as sacred or ordinary. Stay with me. There is more to see. My child, I need you to understand something that may unsettle you at first, but will ultimately protect you. A trap has been set. Not loudly, not violently, not with obvious danger signs flashing in front of you. This is not the kind of trap that announces itself with fear or chaos. It is quieter than that, smarter than that. It hath been placed gently along your path, disguised as something reasonable, something familiar, something that almost feels like relief. And that is why it is dangerous. Traps that look like threats rarely succeed, but traps that look like answers often do. You have been tired, worn thin by waiting, stretched by uncertainty, and the enemy watches for moments like this. He does not attack when you are strong and steady. He waits until you are weary enough to lower your guard. That is why this trap feels subtle rather than severe. It does not scream wrong. You whisper just this once. It does not demand rebellion. It suggests compromise. It does not pull you violently. It invites you gently. And that invitation is what makes it deadly. I say this to you not to alarm you, but to awaken discernment. Because the greatest danger is not what frightens you, but what flatters you. The greatest risk is not what opposes you openly, but what aligns itself just close enough to your desires that you stop questioning it. You have been asking for movement, for progress, for something to finally shift, and now something has appeared that seems to answer that longing. But not everything that moves you forward is from me. Some things move you sideways. Some things move you backward. Some things move you just far enough off the path that returning becomes costly. That is why I speak now. The trap has been set in timing, not accident. It has been positioned to meet you at a moment of vulnerability, when patience feels expensive and obedience feels slow. And if you do not name it for what it is, you may step into it thinking you are stepping into provision. Listen to me closely, my child, because traps are rarely about the moment itself. They are about what they steal after the moment passes. The enemy is not interested in a single decision. He is interested in momentum. He wants to shift the direction of your steps just enough that, over time, you find yourself far from where you intended to be. That is why this trap does not feel dramatic. It feels practical. It feels justified. It feels explainable. You can already sense the arguments forming in your mind. Reasons why it makes sense. Reasons why it is understandable. Reasons why others would agree with you. But agreement is not confirmation, and logic is not lordship. You must learn this now. There are choices that make sense to everyone around you and still cost you your peace. There are doors that open easily and still lead to confinement. There are paths that look smooth at the entrance and end in places you never intended to go. This trap is shaped like something you have survived before. That is intentional. Familiar pain is easier to return to than unknown obedience. The enemy knows your history. He knows what once hooked you, what once exhausted you, what once nearly broke you. And he knows that familiarity creates false confidence. You think, I handled this before. I can handle it again. But I tell you this with fatherly firmness. Survival is not the same as calling. Just because you lived through something does not mean you were meant to repeat it. You grew not so you could revisit old cycles, but so you could recognize them sooner. And now, here you are, standing at the edge of recognition. The trap only works if you deny what you already sense. If you quiet that inner check. If you move forward while telling yourself you will figure it out later. Later is where many of my children mourn what they wish they had listened to sooner. That is why I am speaking plainly now. Not everything offered to you is sent by me. Not everything available to you is assigned to you. And not every open hand is safe to take. I want you to notice something important, my child. The trap is patient, but truth is urgent. That is why this message feels pressing. Traps wait. They do not rush you. They let you rush yourself. They rely on your impatience to do the work for them. That is why you feel an unusual tension right now, a sense that something matters more than you can fully articulate. You are right. Something does matter. What you choose in the next stretch of time will either strengthen your discernment or dull it. And discernment, once dull, becomes harder to trust. I do not want you living in constant suspicion, but I do want you living in awareness. Awareness is not fear, it is clarity. I am not asking you to withdraw from life, but to engage it with your eyes open. This trap has been placed where you are likely to step without looking, where routine meets desire, where fatigue meets opportunity. And I am standing beside you now, pointing quietly but firmly, saying, look again. Slow down. Feel the weight of the decision before you. Let the urgency you feel come from truth, not pressure. The enemy pressures, I guide. The enemy rushes, I steady. The enemy hides the cost, I reveal it. And here is what I want you to remember as we move forward together. A warning is an act of love. If I did not care, I would let you walk on. If I did not see your value, I would remain silent. But I love you too deeply to let you confuse momentum with movement. Stay with me. There is more clarity coming. My child, hear this without panic but with seriousness. Time is not on your side here. This is not a season where delay is harmless, and this is not a moment where indecision carries no consequence. I know you are accustomed to telling yourself that you will think about it later, that you will pray about it tomorrow, that you will revisit it when things settle down. But some moments do not wait for calm. Some decisions lose clarity the longer they sit untouched. And this is one of them. The urgency you feel is not meant to frighten you, it is meant to focus you. There are times when patience is obedience, and there are times when hesitation becomes disobedience wearing the disguise of wisdom. You must learn to tell the difference. Right now, the window for clear sight is open, but it will not remain open indefinitely. Not because I am rushing you, but because pressure will increase the longer you wait. External voices will grow louder. Justifications will multiply. Fatigue will deepen. And what feels obvious now may feel confusing later. That is how traps mature. They begin obvious and become familiar. They begin questionable and become normal. And then, one day, You wonder how you ended up somewhere you never planned to be. I am interrupting that process now. I am telling you plainly that this is a moment that requires attention, not postponement. You do not need to solve everything today, but you do need to acknowledge what you are sensing. Do not push it aside. Do not bury it under busyness. Do not anesthetize it with distraction. Time, in this case, is not neutral. It is either an ally or an accomplice. And if you do nothing, time will quietly work against you. Listen carefully, my child, because this is where many misunderstand me. When I say time is not on your side, I am not saying you must act impulsively. I am saying you must act intentionally. There is a difference. And thus comes from emotion. Intention comes from alignment. And right now, alignment requires you to stop pretending this can wait. The enemy would love for you to spiritualize delay, to call it being cautious when it is really avoidance. He would love for you to confuse peace with numbness, to mistake silence for safety. But silence is not always peace. Sometimes it is simply the absence of resistance because you have stopped listening. You are still listening. That is why this feels urgent. You are aware enough to sense the narrowing, the subtle closing in of options. This is not condemnation. It is information. I am giving you insight so you can choose wisely while choice is still clear. Think of it this way. Fruit left too long on the branch rots. Bread left too long without use hardens. Opportunities ignored do not remain frozen in time. They change shape. And clarity neglected does not stay sharp. You are at a point where clarity is available, but it must be honored. That is why I am speaking with emphasis, repeating myself, circling this truth again and again. Repetition is not redundancy. It is reinforcement. I do not want this to slip past you. I do not want you waking up later saying, I knew better. Knowing better is a gift meant to be used in the moment it is given. And you have been given that gift now. My beloved child, let me speak to your heart gently as I close this point. I am not asking you to run. I am asking you not to drift. Drifting is far more dangerous than deliberate movement, because it feels passive and harmless while it carries you somewhere you never chose. This moment is a checkpoint, not a crisis. A pause, not a panic. But it is a pause that must be honored. You do not need to fear missing out. You need to fear missing wisdom. Because what you gain by waiting too long may not be worth what you lose. I have walked with you through seasons where waiting was necessary, and I will tell you when waiting is holy. But this is not one of those times. This is a time to acknowledge what is before you and to resist the temptation to let time decide for you. Decisions deferred are decisions made by default, and default choices rarely align with destiny. Stay present. Stay honest. Stay willing to respond rather than react. I am not leaving you alone with this. I am walking with you through it. But I will not force your steps. I will illuminate the path and let you choose. And as we continue, I will show you more about pressure, about peace, about the difference between divine urgency and destructive haste. Stay with me, my child. We are not finished. My child, you felt it before you understood it. That quiet resistance, that subtle pause inside you that did not come from logic or fear but from something deeper, something steadier. You may not have had language for it, but you recognize the sensation, the moment when your spirit leaned back even as your mind leaned forward. That was not hesitation born of weakness. That was discernment awakening. Long before danger announces itself, discernment whispers. It does not shout. It does not argue. It does not demand attention. It simply creates attention you can't ignore unless you choose to. And you noticed it. That matters. Many ignore it so often that they no longer feel it at all. What you felt it. You sensed the shift in your peace, the slight heaviness that arrived without explanation, the internal resistance that did not match the external opportunity. That was not confusion. That was clarity trying to rise. My spirit within you does not always speak in full sentences. Sometimes it speaks in sensation. A tightening. A slowing. A loss of ease. A warning wrapped in stillness. You felt it when you considered your next step. You felt it when you imagined saying yes. You felt it when you tried to talk yourself into moving forward, and something inside you refused to agree. Do not dismiss that. Too many of my children have trained themselves to override that inner signal because it inconveniences them. They call it overthinking. They call it nerves. They call it doubt. But you knew this was different. This was not anxiety pulling you back. This was wisdom standing guard. I placed that check within you not to confuse you, but to protect you. It is evidence that you are not abandoned to your own instincts. It is proof that I am near enough to warn you quietly before harm arrives loudly. Listen to me carefully now, my child, because the enemy's greatest strategy is not to silence my voice, but to convince you to distrust it. He will whisper that you are imagining things, that you are being dramatic, that you are making something out of nothing. He will remind you of times you hesitated and nothing bad happened, hoping you will generalize and ignore this moment too. But discernment is not about being right every time. It is about being faithful to what you sense in the moment. You are not called to predict outcomes. You are called to respond to guidance. The check you felt is not meant to be debated endlessly. It is meant to be honored. When you argue with it, you drain its power. When you explain it away, you dull its edge. When you override it repeatedly, you teach your spirit that its voice is not welcome. And eventually, it will grow quiet, not because I stopped speaking, but because you stopped listening. I do not want that for you. I want your discernment sharp, alive, responsive. That is why I am reinforcing what you already felt. I am confirming it externally so you will trust it internally. Repetition is mercy. Confirmation is kindness. I am saying again what your spirit already whispered. Something is off. Something requires caution. Something needs to be examined more deeply before you move. The check you felt is not an obstacle. It is an invitation to slow down and see more clearly. You are not weak for feeling it. You are wise. You are not behind because you paused. You are protected. My beloved child, let me speak to the part of you that fears missing out. That check in your spirit did not come to rob you of joy. It came to preserve it. Peace is not found in saying yes to everything that presents itself. Peace is found in alignment with truth, with timing, with purpose. When you ignore the check, you may gain momentum, but you will lose peace. When you honor it, you may feel delayed, but you will remain steady. And steadiness is what carries you through storms, not speed. You do not need to rush past wisdom to prove courage. Courage sometimes looks like stopping when everything around you says go. I am not asking you to distrust people or opportunities automatically. I am asking you to trust the gift I place within you. That internal check is not random. It is trained by relationship. It grows stronger the more you honor it. And today, I am asking you to honor it. Sit with it. Pray with it. Let it speak fully instead of silencing it with noise. You are not wrong for feeling what you feel. You are not dramatic. You are discerning. And as we move forward together, you will begin to recognize this pattern more clearly. Pressure pushes, but discernment pauses. Fear agitates, but discernment steadies. Confusion clouds, but discernment clarifies. Stay with that stillness. It will not betray you. My child, I need you to understand this distinction clearly, because it will save you more times than you realize. Not all urgency is divine. Some urgency is engineered. Some urgency is manufactured pressure designed to bypass wisdom and rush you past discernment. The enemy is skilled at creating a sense of now or never, knowing that fear of loss is one of the strongest motivators of human behavior. He does not need to lie outright if he can simply hurry you. Urgency without wisdom feels loud, demanding, restless. It crowds your thoughts, your pains, and pushes you toward quick decisions and shallow evaluation. Divine urgency, on the other hand, is calm even when it is firm. It is cleared even when it is pressing. It does not panic you. It focuses you. If you feel frantic, scattered, or internally pressured, that urgency did not come from me. I do not rush my children into confusion. I do not shove them toward decisions they do not understand. When I move quickly, I also bring clarity. When I call you to act, I also give you peace. The urgency you are feeling right now has an edge to it, a sharpness that feels more like pressure than purpose. That is a warning sign. The enemy's urgency does not invite reflection. It discourages it. It tells you there is no time to pray, no time to wait, no time to ask questions. But wisdom always has time to breathe. If something cannot withstand scrutiny, it does not deserve agreement. Hear me, my child, because this is where many fall. They confuse adrenaline with anointing. They mistake intensity for importance. They assume that because something feels urgent, it must be essential. But urgency alone proves nothing. Anyone can manufacture pressure. Anyone can impose a deadline. Anyone can threaten loss. The enemy is particularly effective at wrapping urgency in emotional language. If you don't act now, you'll miss your chance. If you wait, someone else will take your place. If you hesitate, everything will fall apart. These statements sound powerful, but they are hollow. They are built on fear, not truth. I do not manipulate you with threats of abandonment or scarcity. I do not coerce you into obedience. Love invites, it does not coerce. The enemy uses urgency to narrow your vision until all you can see is the immediate moment. Wisdom, however, expands your vision. It asks you to consider not just what happens next, but what happens after that, and after that. I want you to notice how different these urgencies feel in your body, in your spirit. One dying, one steadies, one rushes, one reassures, one exhausts, one strengthens. Learn this difference. It will protect you repeatedly. When urgency demands without peace, stop. When pressure mounts without clarity, pause. When something insists you move before you understand, wait. My beloved child, I am not telling you this so you will mistrust everything. I am telling you this so you will test everything. Discernment is not cynicism, it is stewardship. You are responsible for the choices you make, and I want you making them from a place of wisdom, not haste. You do not owe words your obedience. You owe truth your attention. If something is truly meant for you, it will remain aligned even when examined slowly. What is from me does not disintegrate under patience. It becomes clearer, stronger, more peaceful. So do not be afraid to slow down. Do not be ashamed to say, I need time. Do not let manufactured urgency bully you into agreement. You are not late. You are not behind. You are not missing your destiny by waiting for wisdom. You are protecting it. As we continue, I will help you recognize the voice that pushes versus the voice that guides, the urgency that drains versus the urgency that directs. Stay with me. You are learning to walk wisely, and that matters more than walking quickly. My child, hear me clearly now, because this is where many of my children stumble without realizing it. Pressure is not direction. Pressure is not guidance. Pressure is not proof. Just because something presses on you does not mean it is pushing you forward in the right way. Pressure often feels urgent, heavy, insistent, as if time itself were leaning against your chest demanding movement. But pressure does not come from wisdom. It comes from force. And I do not force my children. I lead them. When you feel pressured, your breathing shortens, your thoughts scatter, your vision narrows. You stop listening deeply and start reacting quickly. That is exactly what the enemy wants. He cannot always stop you from seeking me, but he can hurry you past me. He can make you feel like stillness is dangerous, like waiting is weakness, like pausing means losing. And so he applies pressure, social pressure, emotional pressure, financial pressure, internal pressure, until movement feels like relief. But relief is not the same as rightness. Many have stepped into regret simply because they wanted the pressure to stop. They mistook silence after a decision for peace, not realizing that numbness had replaced discernment. I am telling you now, you do not need to move just to quiet the noise. You do not need to decide just to escape discomfort. Discomfort can be holy when it keeps you from harm. Pressure says, act now or else. Wisdom says, stand still and see. Pressure crowds your heart. Wisdom clears it. Pressure demands. Wisdom invites. Learn this contrast, my child, because it will protect you again and again. Listen to me, because I know how convincing pressure can be. It often wears familiar voices. It sounds like expectations from others, unspoken deadlines, imagined consequences. It tells you that if you do not act now, you will disappoint someone, lose respect, miss an opportunity, fall behind. Pressure is persuasive because it appeals to your fears. Fear of rejection, fear of scarcity, fear of being left out. But fear is a poor counselor. Fear rushes you toward decisions that wisdom would carefully examine. And here is the truth you must hold on to. Anything truly meant for you will not require you to abandon discernment to obtain it. I do not place blessings on a clock that expires the moment you stop listening to me. I do not require you to betray your peace to prove your faith. When I move, I also steady. When I speak, I also reassure. If you feel driven rather than guided, pushed rather than led, hurried rather than held, that movement did not originate in my heart. The enemy wants you to believe that pressure equals importance. I want you to know that peace equals alignment. Pressure accelerates without direction. Alignment moves forward with clarity. Do not let the volume of urgency drown out the quiet authority of truth. My beloved child, I am not asking you to resist everything. I am asking you to resist moving simply to relieve pressure. Sit with the discomfort a little longer. Let the urgency exhaust itself. Truth does not panic when examined. Wisdom does not disappear when questioned. If something collapses the moment you slowed down, it was never stable to begin with. You are allowed to pause. You are allowed to say, I need time. You are allowed to wait until peace returns before you step forward. That pause is not failure, it is maturity. And as you learn this, something will change inside you. Pressure will lose its power over you. You will stop mistaking intensity for importance. You will move less often, but when you do move, you will move with strength. Stay with me, my child. I am teaching you how to walk without being driven. My child, I need you to look again at what is in front of you, because the most dangerous traps are not marked with warning signs. They are wrapped in promise. This one is disguised as opportunity. It looks like progress. It sounds like advancement. It feels like momentum after a long season of waiting. And that is precisely why it is tempting. Opportunity carries hope, and hope lowers defenses when it is starved. You have waited. You have endured. You have been patient longer than you thought you could be. And now something appears that seems to reward that patience quickly. But not every opportunity is an answer to prayer. Some are counterfeits designed to look just close enough to my provision that you stop asking questions. The enemy does not need to invent something completely new. He only needs to twist what you already desire. He knows what you have been praying for. He knows where you are tired. He knows where delay has made you vulnerable. And so he presents something that promises relief without refinement, gain without growth, rival without obedience. Opportunity without alignment is a snare. It moves you forward in appearance, but sideways in spirit. And if you are not careful, you will call it a blessing simply because it is available. Availability is not assignment. Open doors are not always divine doors. Some doors are open because no one guards them, not because I ordained them. Hear me closely now, my child, because this is where discernment must go deeper than excitement. True opportunity from me carries peace even when it stretches you. False opportunity carries excitement that fades into unease. One strengthens you over time. The other drains you after the initial rush. One aligns with who you are becoming. The other pulls you back toward who you used to be. This trap feels like opportunity because it offers speed. It promises to bypass the slow, quiet work I have been doing in you. It suggests that you can skip steps, ignore checks, and still arrive safely. But shortcuts always extract payment later. What you gain quickly, you often lose deeply. And what you gain without wisdom rarely lasts. I am not against opportunity. I am the giver of it. But my opportunities do not require you to silence your conscience. They do not require you to compromise integrity. They do not require you to ignore that inner resistance you felt earlier. When opportunity comes from me, it confirms what I have already been speaking, not contradicts it. It builds on obedience and not impatience. Examine what is being offered to you. Does it demand haste? Does it minimize risk? Does it flatter your desire to be done waiting? These are signals, my child. Not accusations, signals. Pay attention to them. My beloved child, I know how badly you want movement. I know how heavy waiting had been. But I would rather you wait a little longer in safety than move quickly into something that costs you more than you expect. Opportunity will come again. Real opportunity. Blind opportunity. Peace-filled opportunity. You are not running out of time, but you are learning how to recognize traps dressed as answers. And that lesson is priceless. Do not be seduced by speed. Do not be impressed by access. Do not be convinced by applause. What matters is alignment. What matters is peace. What matters is whether this step draws you closer to me or subtly pulls you away. Stay close, my child. I am not withholding from you. I am preparing you to receive what will not wound you. My child, I need you to look beyond the surface now, because what you are being offered is not what it seems. The outer layer is polished. The presentation is convincing. The language is persuasive. It sounds reasonable. It feels timely. It appears to answer questions you have been carrying quietly for a long time. But beneath what is visible lies something hidden, something unresolved, something that does not carry my fingerprint. This is how deception works, not by offering something entirely false, but by offering something partially true, just enough to disarm your caution. You are being shown the benefits but not the cost. You are being shown the entrance but not the exit. You are being shown what you gain immediately, but not what will be demanded of you over time. That is why discernment must look past the first impression. First impressions appeal to emotion. Truth reveals itself over time. I am asking you to slow your gaze, to examine not just what is promised, but what is required. Ask yourself what this offer pulls from you. Does it pull peace or pressure? Does it pull clarity or confusion? Does it pull you closer to integrity or quietly ask you to loosen it? These questions matter. What is from me does not require disguise. It does not need to hide its intentions. It does not depend on illusion to persuade you. But what you are facing now relies heavily on how it appears, not on what it produces. And appearances are easily managed by those who do not carry truth. Listen carefully, my child, because illusion thrives where exhaustion lives. When you are tired of waiting, tired of hoping, tired of holding the line, you become more willing to accept things at face value. You stop probing. You stop testing. You start telling yourself that maybe you do not need to look so deeply this time. But that is when discernment must become sharper, not softer. The enemy knows that fatigue lowers resistance. He knows that when you are weary, you crave simplicity. So he offers you something that looks simple, clean, and straightforward, while hiding the complexity that will emerge later. This is why I say again, what you are being offered is not what it seems. There are strings attached you cannot yet see. Expectations that will surface slowly. Compromises that will be framed as no big deal once you are invested. You are not imagining this hesitation. You are sensing layers. You are detecting depth where others might only see opportunity. That ability is a gift. Do not ignore it. The enemy wants you focused on the outcome so you do not examine the process. I want you focused on the process, because the process determines the outcome. What begins with subtle compromise rarely ends with peace. My beloved child, I am not trying to make you suspicious of everything. I am trying to make you sober-minded. There is a difference. Suspicion is driven by fear. Sobriety is driven by clarity. You are not required to reject what you do not understand, but you are required to examine what asks for your trust. And this is asking for your trust quickly. That alone should give you pause. Truth does not fear inspection. Light does not fear exposure. If something resists questions, it is not ready for agreement. If something loses its appeal when slowed down, it was sustained by momentum, not substance. I want you to remember this. What is real grows stronger when examined. What is false grows weaker. You are being given the chance to look deeper before you commit. That chance is mercy. That pause is protection. Honor it. Stay with me. I will not let you be deceived if you are willing to see. My child, now that your eyes are opening to what is hidden beneath the surface, understand this as well. Light must be carried, or darkness will fill the space again. I do not reveal truth to you only for your protection, but so that you may help protect others who are still standing at the entrance of the same trap. When you give to this work, you are sowing discernment into dry places, placing oil in lamps that are flickering, and sending warning before destruction arrives. I am speaking to the part of you that feels the weight of responsibility. This is that moment. As it is written, the wise store up knowledge, and today I am asking you to help distribute it. Your super thanks, your membership, your PayPal seed becomes a trumpet that carries my voice farther than your own reach. I will multiply what you release, and I will guard what you hold back in obedience. You not delay, act now, give now, and let my truth run swiftly through you to others. My child, I need you to understand the weight of this moment, because you are being watched right now. not in a way meant to frighten you, but in a way meant to remind you that this decision matters beyond what you can see. Heaven is attentive. The unseen realm is alert. This is not an ordinary crossroads. This is not a small, forgettable choice. What you decide here will ripple outward in ways you do not yet understand. Angels are not watching to judge you, but to observe what you choose to align with. The enemy is watching too, not because he has power over you, but because he recognizes moments of vulnerability and moments of potential. He studies timing. He studies fatigue. He studies transition. And this is a moment of transition for you. That is why resistance has increased. That is why pressure feels heightened. That is why the stakes feel heavier than usual. You are not imagining it. Something significant is being decided here, whether you choose intentionally or drift passively. When I say you are being watched, I am reminding you that your obedience has impact, and your discernment carries authority. This moment is being recorded not to trap you, but to testify for you, if you choose wisely. Listen closely now, my child, because accountability is not condemnation. Being seen does not mean being threatened. It means being valued. I do not observe my children because I expect them to fail. I watch because I care about where they are headed. And in moments like this, your choice becomes a declaration. It declares what voice you trust. It declares what pace you honor. It declares whether pressure or peace leads you. The enemy watches to see if you will abandon discernment for relief. Heaven watches to see if you will honor wisdom even when it costs comfort. This is not about perfection. It is about posture. Will you humble yourself enough to wait? Will you trust me enough to pause? Will you believe that obedience is safer than urgency? These are the questions hovering over this moment. And do not think your decision is isolated. Others are affected by what you choose. Your future self is affected. The people you will one day lead, love, or influence are affected. This is why spiritual moments often feel lonely. You cannot crowdsource obedience. You must choose it personally. My beloved child, I want you to feel strengthened by this, not burdened. You are not being watched because you are weak. You are being watched because you are trusted. You have grown. You have matured. You are capable of discernment now in ways you were not before. That is why this moment has weight, and I am standing with you in it. You are not alone under scrutiny. You are accompanied by grace. Whatever you choose, choose it consciously. Choose it prayerfully. Choose it with eyes open. Do not let this moment pass unnoticed. Do not treat it as ordinary. It is not. You are standing in a space where wisdom can neither be affirmed or ignored. I know what I hope you will choose. And as your father, I am here, steady and present, waiting with you until clarity settles fully. Stay with me. My child, I need to speak to you with tenderness and truth at the same time, because your past is not irrelevant to this moment. It is not forgotten. It is not distant. And it is not neutral. Your past makes this trap dangerous, not because you are weak, but because you are familiar. Familiarity is one of the enemy's most effective tools. He does not always bring something new. He brings something known. He shapes the temptation to fit your history, to echo old patterns, to awaken muscle memory in your soul. And you feel it, even now. There is something about this situation that feels recognizable, not comfortable, recognizable. It touches places you have been before. It resembles seasons you survived. It sounds like voices you once listened to. It feels like roads you once walked. And because you lived through those seasons, part of you believes you can navigate them again. But hear me clearly, my child. surviving something once does not mean you are meant to revisit it. I did not grow you so you could repeat cycles. I grew you so you could recognize them sooner. This trap is dangerous precisely because it does not feel foreign. It feels explainable. It feels manageable. It feels like something you already understand. But understanding a pattern does not make it harmless. In fact, it often makes it more subtle. The enemy relies on your confidence in your own resilience. He whispers, "You handled this before. You know how this goes." And what he does not tell you is that the cost this time will be different. Higher. Dearer. More expensive. You are not the same person you were then, and that means the consequences will not land the same way either. Listen to me, my child, because this is where wisdom must override nostalgia. Your past is not just a memory. It is a teacher, and it is speaking to you now. It is reminding you of what drained you, what distracted you, what delayed you. It is reminding you of nights you do not want to relive and prayers you do not want to repeat. Yet the trap uses familiarity to soften its edge. It says this time will be different. This time you're stronger. This time you'll keep control. But strength is not proven by re-entering old dangers. Strength is proven by walking away from them. You do not owe your past another chance to wound you. You do not owe old patterns the opportunity to reassert themselves. I redeemed you from those seasons not so you could revisit them with confidence, but so you could avoid them with wisdom. And here is what I need you to understand. The enemy does not fear your strength as much as he fears your growth. He knows you have changed. He knows you are more discerning now. So he adjusts the trap. He makes it quieter, clearer, less obvious. He removes the chaos and leaves the compromise. He removes the pain and leaves the pull. That is why this feels different enough to consider, but similar enough to be risky. This is not coincidence. It is calculated. And I am revealing it to you because I want you free, not just resilient. My beloved child, let me speak to the part of you that wonders if avoiding this means you are afraid. It does not. It means you are wise. Fear runs toward what is familiar because it wants predictability. Wisdom runs toward what is aligned because it wants life. You are not dishonoring your growth by refusing to revisit old ground. You are honoring it. And I want you to hear this clearly. Saying no to this is not regression. It is graduation. It is proof that you have learned what you needed to learn. It is evidence that the lesson worked. Do not let the enemy convince you that repeating pain is maturity. Maturity is choosing differently when the pattern presents itself again. And that is exactly what you are being invited to do now. Stay with me. I am not exposing your past to shame you. I am using it to shield you. My child, I need you to slow your heart and hear this with clarity. Familiar does not mean safe. Familiar simply means known. And many of the most damaging things in your life were damaging precisely because they were familiar. You learned how to navigate them. You learned how to endure them. You learned how to survive inside them. But survival is not the same as safety. You can survive storms that were never meant to become your home. You can adapt to environments that are quietly harming you. And if you are not careful, you can mistake your ability to endure for permission to remain. Familiarity lowers your guard. It tells you that you know what to expect, that nothing will surprise you, that you can manage the risk. But safety is not measured by predictability. It is measured by peace. And peace is not present here, not fully. That is why you felt the check. That is why you sensed the tension. Something can be familiar and still erode you slowly. Something can be familiar and still pull you away from who you are becoming. I do not want you settling for what you know how to survive when I am calling you toward what will allow you to thrive. Listen closely now, my child, because this is where many confuse wisdom with comfort. Comfort feels safe because it does not challenge you. Familiarity feels safe because it does not require learning something new. But true safety is found in alignment, not ease. What is aligned with me may stretch you, but it will not drain you. What is misaligned may feel manageable at first, but it will cost you clarity over time. Familiar patterns often come with familiar compromises. You already know where they lead, even if you do not want to admit it. You know the emotional toll. You know the spiritual dulling. You know the way they slowly crowd out stillness and replace it with noise. Yet because you know them, they feel less threatening than the unknown. But the unknown, when guided by me, is safer than the familiar that pulls you away. Do not let your history define your future choices. Do not let your tolerance for discomfort become a reason to accept it again. You are not obligated to return to places you have outgrown simply because they are recognizable. Growth always makes old spaces feel smaller. That discomfort is not loss. It is confirmation that you no longer belong there. My beloved child, I want you to imagine what it would feel like to choose safety rooted in peace instead of familiarity rooted in endurance. Peace does not demand constant vigilance. Peace does not require you to brace yourself. Peace does not make you rehearse exits in your mind. Peace allows you to breathe fully, to rest honestly, to be present without guarding your heart. That is the safety I desire for you. And it will not be found by returning to what you already know how to survive. It will be found by trusting me enough to step away from what only feels safe because it is familiar. I am not asking you to leap blindly into the unknown. I am asking you to let go of what you already know is not life-giving. You have learned enough from those places. You do not need another lesson. You need a new direction. Stay with me. I will not lead you into danger. I will lead you out of it. My child, I will not soften this truth for you, because love does not lie to spare feelings. Obedience right now will cost you comfort. It will cost you ease. It will cost you the relief that comes from choosing what feels familiar, what feels immediately soothing, what feels socially acceptable or emotionally convenient. Obedience is not always dramatic, but it is often uncomfortable. And this moment is one of those times. You are standing at a place where the easier choice is not the safer one, and the more comfortable option is not the wiser one. Comfort is calling to you with a gentle voice, promising rest without resistance, progress without pain, peace without surrender. But that voice is misleading you. Comfort, when chosen over obedience, becomes a sedative. It numbs your discernment. It quiets your conscience. It convinces you that avoiding discomfort is the same as choosing peace. But peace and comfort are not the same thing. Peace strengthens you even when it stretches you. Comfort weakens you when it shields you from necessary growth. I am asking you to obey not because I want to take something from you, but because I want to protect something in you. The cost you feel now is small compared to the cost you will pay later if you choose comfort instead of alignment. Listen to me carefully, my child, because this is where many misunderstand obedience. They think obedience should feel affirming, validating, rewarding in the moment. But obedience often feels like loss before it feels like gain. It feels like restraint before it feels like freedom. It feels like standing alone while others move ahead quickly. That is why obedience requires trust. Trust that I see what you do not. Trust that I know the outcome of roads you have not yet walked. Trust that discomfort today can prevent devastation tomorrow. You may feel the pull to choose what soothes your anxiety quickly, what quiets the pressure immediately, what resolves the tension fastest. But fast relief is rarely deep healing. Obedience heals slowly and thoroughly. Comfort pacifies quickly and temporarily. And here is the truth you need to hold on to. Anything that costs you your peace later is not worth preserving your comfort now. I am not asking you to suffer unnecessarily. I am asking you to choose wisely. The discomfort you feel is the friction of growth, not the punishment of delay. And that friction is shaping you, strengthening you, refining your ability to stand firm without being driven by feeling. My beloved child, let me speak gently to the part of you that is tired. I know you are weary. I know you want ease. I know you crave rest that does not require explanation or resistance. But obedience is not the enemy of rest. It is the doorway to true rest. The rest you are longing for will not come from choosing what is easiest. It will come from choosing what is right and laying down the burden of compromise. You do not need to be afraid of the discomfort obedience brings. It is temporary, but the peace it produces is lasting. Stay with me through this discomfort. Do not run from it. Let it do its work. You will not regret choosing alignment over ease. I promise you that. My child, I need you to understand something clearly and without illusion. Silence is also a decision. Doing nothing is not neutral. Waiting without intention is not harmless. When you choose not to choose, you still choose. You choose to let circumstances decide for you. You choose to let pressure shape the outcome. You choose to let momentum carry you forward without direction. And often, that is exactly what the enemy hopes for. He does not always need you to say yes outright. Sometimes all he needs is your silence, your delay, your hesitation disguised as wisdom, your passivity framed as patience. But silence, when clarity hath been given, becomes agreement with whatever fills the gap. If you do not step forward in truth, something else will step forward in its place. If you do not speak with conviction, fear will speak for you. If you do not act with discernment, habit will act on your behalf. That is why I'm pressing this point so clearly. You have been given enough insight now that silence is no longer innocent. You see enough to respond. You feel enough to act. You know enough to choose. Hear me, my child, because this is not about rushing. It is about honesty. Silence often feels safer than commitment because it postpones responsibility. It allows you to avoid discomfort a little longer. It lets you tell yourself that you are still considering, still discerning, still waiting for confirmation. But confirmation has already come. Not in thunder, not in spectacle, but in steady repetition. In the check you felt, in the pressure you noticed, in the lack of peace that has not gone away. Silence at this stage is not discernment, it is avoidance. And avoidance slowly hands authority over your life to forces that do not love you. I do not need you to have every answer. I need you to respond to what you already know. Truth honored grows clearer. Truth ignored grows quieter. And I do not want you losing clarity because you mistook silence for safety. My beloved child, let me be very clear and very gentle at the same time. I am not angry with you for hesitating. I am inviting you to move out of indecision and into alignment. You do not need to make a dramatic declaration. You do not need to confront anyone loudly. Sometimes the most powerful decision is a quiet one made firmly in the heart. A settled no. A resolved pause. A deliberate step back. That is still a decision, and it is a wise one. Do not let silence drift you into something you would never choose intentionally. Choose consciously. Choose prayerfully. Choose with your eyes open. I am here with you, not rushing you, but calling you forward out of indecision and into peace. Stay with me. We are not finished yet. My child, I want you to hear this with clarity and relief, because it matters deeply right now. I am giving you an exit. Not after the fall, not after the damage, not after regret has already taken root. I am giving you an exit now, while your feet are still on solid ground, while your heart is still sensitive, while your discernment is still awake. This is what mercy looks like. Mercy does not always remove the temptation. Sometimes it reveals the escape. And that is what I am doing for you in this moment. You may have thought exits only appear when things become unbearable, but I provide them long before that, quietly, gently, often disguised as hesitation, as delay, as a sudden lack of peace. An exit does not always look dramatic. Sometimes it looks like the strength to say no without explanation. Sometimes it looks like the courage to step back even when others step forward. Sometimes it looks like a pause that feels awkward but proves life-saving. This message itself is part of the exit, is the door you can choose to walk through. I am not trapping you in a test. I am guiding you out of danger. And the fact that you are hearing this means you are not too far gone, not already entangled, not beyond rescue. You are still free to choose. That freedom is precious. Do not underestimate it. Listen carefully, my child, because exits are often ignored not because they are unclear, but because they require humility. To take an exit, you must admit that moving forward would be unwise. You must accept that stopping is sometimes stronger than continuing. You must release the need to justify yourself to people who do not see what you see. The enemy hopes you will confuse pride with courage, that you will keep going simply because turning back feels embarrassing or inconvenient. But wisdom does not worry about appearances. Wisdom worries about outcomes. I am not asking you to dramatize this moment. I am asking you to recognize it. An exit is not failure. It is foresight. It is evidence that you are paying attention. Many have prayed for escape only after consequences arrived. You are being offered one before they do. That is grace. That is protection. That is love. And I need you to understand this clearly. You are not disappointing me by choosing the exit. You are honoring me. You are honoring the growth I have cultivated in you. You are honoring the lessons you have already learned. Every exit I provide is an invitation to trust me more than momentum. My beloved child, I want you to imagine the relief that will come when you take this exit. The pressure will loosen. The noise will quiet. The urgency will lose its grip. Peace will begin to return. Not all at once, not dramatically, but steadily, like breath returning after holding it too long. That is how you will know you chose wisely. You do not need to explain this decision to everyone. You do not need to defend it. You only need to obey it. Walk away calmly. Step back intentionally. Close the door gently, but firmly. I am not asking you to run in fear. I am inviting you to walk in wisdom. This exit will not lead to loss. It will lead to preservation. Preservation of your peace. Preservation of your clarity. Preservation of the future I am shaping for you. Take the exit, my child. It is there because you are loved. My child, let me speak to you honestly now, not to accuse you, but to protect you. Pride says I can handle it. Pride does not always look arrogant or loud. Often, it looks calm, confident, even responsible. It says, I've grown. I'm stronger now. I know what I'm doing. And while growth is real and strength is genuine, pride subtly shifts trust away from me and places it entirely on yourself. It convinces you that awareness alone is enough to keep you safe. But awareness without humility still leads to harm. You can recognize danger and still step into it if pride tells you that you are above being affected. Pride does not announce itself as rebellion. It presents itself as self-reliance. It tells you that you do not need to pause, do not need counsel, do not need to wait. It whispers that because you have survived before, you can manage again. But hear me clearly, managing risk is not the same as avoiding it. And strength is not proven by how much you can endure. It is proven by how wisely you choose. Pride says, I've got this. Humility says, I need guidance. And only one of those keeps you aligned with truth. Listen closely, my child, because pride is especially dangerous after growth. When you have matured, learned hard lessons, and developed discernment, pride tries to attach itself to that progress. It says, you don't need to be as careful anymore. You don't need to listen as closely. You can trust yourself now. But I never designed you to outgrow dependence on me. Growth does not remove the need for guidance. It deepens it. The more responsibility you carry, the more humility you require. Pride isolates you internally even when others surround you. It stops you from asking questions. It keeps you from admitting uncertainty. It convinces you that stopping would mean weakness. But humility is not weakness. Humility is accuracy. It is seeing yourself clearly. Strong, yes, but still human. Capable, yes, but still in need of wisdom beyond your own. The enemy does not need you to rebel openly. He only needs you to rely solely on yourself. That reliance slowly dulls discernment and slowly increases risk. I do not want that for you. My beloved child, I am not calling you incapable. I am calling you to stay teachable. The most dangerous words you can say in moments like this are, I'll be fine. Not because you are fragile, but because those words close your ears. Instead, say, guide me. Say, show me what I cannot see. Say, I trust you more than my confidence. That posture will keep you safe. You do not need to prove your strength by pushing through warnings. You prove your wisdom by heeding them. Lay down the need to demonstrate control. Lay down the belief that you must handle everything on your own. I am not oppressed by self-reliance. I am honored by trust. And trust will lead you where pride never can, into peace, into safety, into the future I have prepared for you. Stay humble, my child. It will keep you free. My child, let me take a weight off your shoulders that you have been carrying for far too long. You do not need to prove anything. Not to me. Not to others. Not even to yourself. The trap before you draws strength from the quiet pressure you feel to justify your worth, to demonstrate growth, to show that you are capable, mature, unafraid. But I never asked you to earn your value through performance. I never demanded evidence of your strength through risk. The need to prove yourself does not come from heaven. It comes from insecurity, comparison, and old wounds that whisper you must constantly validate your place. And those whispers are loud right now. They tell you that walking away will make you look weak, that hesitation will make you seem unsure, that refusal will feel like failure. But hear me clearly, my child. Obedience does not require explanation. Wisdom does not need applause. And walking away from danger is not cowardice. It is clarity. You do not need to demonstrate how much you have grown by stepping into something that threatens your peace. Growth is shown not by what you can endure, but by what you no longer tolerate. And in this moment, choosing restraint is not regression. It is maturity fully expressed. Listen closely, because this pressure to prove yourself is subtle and powerful. It does not shout. It nudges. It compares. It reminds you of who is watching, of expectations placed upon you, of narratives others may construct if you choose differently than they expect. But your life is not a stage, and your obedience is not a performance. I did not create you to live under the weight of other people's assumptions. I created you to walk in alignment with truth. and alignment often looks unimpressive to those who do not understand it. You may feel the urge to explain yourself, to justify your pause, to convince others that your decision is thoughtful and reasonable. But you owe no one a defense of your discernment. The need to prove yourself often leads people into places they never wanted to be, simply because they did not want to look like they were backing down. Pride and insecurity often travel together, disguising themselves as confidence. But true confidence is quiet. It does not need validation. It rests in knowing who you are and whose you are. You are not on trial. You are not being evaluated. You are being guided. My beloved child, let me speak gently to the part of you that fears being misunderstood. Being misunderstood is not failure. It is sometimes the cost of obedience. Not everyone will see what you see. Not everyone will feel what you feel. But I do. And that is enough. You are not losing anything by refusing to prove yourself here. You are gaining freedom. Freedom from expectation. Freedom from pressure. Freedom from cycles that thrive on validation. Lay that burden down. You do not need to prove strength by saying yes. You show strength by trusting me enough to say no. Stay with me in this quiet confidence. It will guard your heart far better than approval ever could. My child, since you now know you do not need to prove anything, let your giving come not from pressure, but from alignment. This is not a test of loyalty. It is an invitation to partnership. When you give freely, you step into the river of provision that flows from trust, not striving. I am reminding you now, whoever sows generously will also reap generously, and that word is alive in this moment. Your support through super thanks, membership, or PayPal is not about being seen. It is about being sent. I am using this message to reach the weary, the hesitant, the one standing silently at the edge of decision. I will bless your obedience with peace, favor, and increase that does not exhaust you. Rise now, move with quiet confidence, and give as I lead. The PayPal link is waiting in the description. My child, I need you to widen your vision now, because what you are about to decide does not end with you. Your choices ripple outward, even when you cannot see the full reach of their impact. This moment is not isolated. It is connected to people you love, people you will one day influence, people whose lives will intersect with yours because of the path you choose now. You may think this is a private decision, something that affects only your peace or progress. But I see beyond the immediate. I see how obedience here protects others from confusion later. I see how wisdom now spares pain down the road. Your life is not lived in a vacuum. You carry influence simply by existing, simply by walking forward. And the enemy understands this. That is why he is eager to entangle you quietly, subtly, privately. He knows that if he can shift your alignment, he can affect more than just you. But hear me clearly. Your obedience creates shelter. Your discernment creates safety. Your restraint creates space for others to breathe. Listen carefully, my child, because leadership does not always look like standing in front of crowds. Sometimes it looks like choosing wisely when no one is applauding. The people who will one day lean on your strength, learn from your example, or be shaped by your presence need you whole, not compromised. They need you clear, not conflicted. They need you grounded, not driven by pressure. You may not even know who they are yet. You may not see their faces or hear their names, but they exist in your future. And this decision is part of how you prepare for them. When you choose alignment now, you are choosing to be trustworthy later. When you resist the trap now, you are preserving your ability to lead, love, and guide without hypocrisy or regret. I am not burdening you with responsibility. I am reminding you of your significance. Your life matters. Your choices matter. And the fact that others are affected is not meant to scare you. It is meant to dignify you. My beloved child, let this truth steady you rather than weigh you down. You are not alone in this decision, and you are not unsupported. I am with you, and I am already working beyond what you can see. When you choose wisely here, you are not just avoiding harm. You are creating space for blessing. Blessing that will reach farther than you imagine. Blessing that will arrive at the right time, in the right way, without the cost of compromise. Trust that your obedience echoes forward. Trust that saying no now may become someone else's answered prayer later. Walk carefully, my child, not in fear but in awareness. Your life is carrying more than you know, and I am guiding you because I care deeply about where it leads. My child, I want you to notice something that has already begun, even if you have not named it yet. When you imagine stepping back, just imagining it, your breathing eases slightly. The tension in your chest loosens. The pressure that felt constant softens, even if only for a moment. That is not coincidence. That is confirmation. Peace is not something you must chase. It is something you recognize when you move back into alignment. You have been carrying an invisible weight, the weight of pressure, urgency, expectation, and internal debate. It has followed you quietly, draining you slowly. But the moment you consider stepping away from this trap, peace begins to stir again. That is how peace works. It does not argue. It does not shout. It simply returns when the threat is removed. I want you to trust that signal. Peace is not an emotion you manufacture. It is a response your spirit gives when it senses safety. And right now, peace is telling you exactly where safety lies, not in pressing forward but in stepping back. You do not need to force calm. You do not need to convince yourself everything is fine. Peace will meet you naturally when you choose alignment over urgency. Listen to me carefully, my child, because many confuse peace with relief, and they are not the same. Relief comes when pressure stops, even if the decision was wrong. Peace comes when truth is honored, even if the decision is difficult. Relief is temporary and often deceptive. Peace is steady and enduring. When you imagine saying yes to the situation, relief may flicker briefly, but peace does not follow. Instead, unease lingers. That is your answer. But when you imagine stepping back, setting boundaries, closing the door, choosing restraint, peace returns quietly, without drama. That is not fear retreating, that is wisdom settling. I want you to learn to trust peace as a guide. Not excitement, not adrenaline, not urgency. Peace. Peace guards your heart. Peace preserves your clarity. Peace keeps you from explaining decisions you will later regret. The enemy will hide you away from peace because he knows peace exposeth his lies. When peace returns, confusion fades. When peace returns, the noise quiets. When peace returns, you remember who you are and whose you are. My beloved child, do not underestimate the significance of this. The return of peace is not a reward you earn. It is a confirmation you receive. It is my way of saying, this is the way. Walk here. You have lived long enough without peace to recognize when it is missing, and wise enough now to notice when it begins to return. Let that be enough. You do not need further signs. You do not need external validation. Peace itself is the witness. Step back, and peace will walk with you. Step back, and clarity will follow. Step back, and you will feel yourself come home to stillness again. That is where I am waiting for you. My child, I need to correct a belief that has quietly shaped how you see this moment. Delay is not denial. Delay is mercy. You have been trained by pain, by disappointment, by missed opportunities to fear waiting. Waiting feels like loss. It feels like being overlooked. It feels like falling behind. But what if waiting is actually protection? What if delay is not me withholding from you, but me shielding you? I have not slowed things down to frustrate you. I have slowed them down to save you. The enemy wants you to believe that if something does not happen immediately, it will never happen at all. That lie creates panic. Panic creates pressure. Pressure leads to poor decisions. But I operate outside of panic. I see the whole road, not just the next step. And sometimes, the most loving thing I can do is slow you down when you are about to move too fast toward something that looks good but will cost you dearly. Delay is not absence. It is intention. It is me saying, not this way. Not now. Not like this. Hear me clearly, my child, because your impatience has been weaponized against you before. You have mistaken delay for rejection, pause for punishment, silence for absence. But I have been present in every pause, working in ways you could not see. Delay exposes motives. Delay reveals character. Delay gives discernment time to speak fully. If this opportunity dissolves when delayed, it was never secure. If it pressures you when slowed, it was never pure. What is truly meant for you will withstand waiting. It will not threaten you with loss. It will not hurry you past wisdom. It will not punish you for listening to peace. Delay filters out what is not aligned. It removes counterfeit doors. It protects you from entering rooms you would later beg to escape. I know waiting is uncomfortable for you. I know it triggers old fears. But I am not repeating old wounds, I am healing them. I am teaching you that nothing meant for you will be lost by obedience. My beloved child, let delay do its work. Let it strip urgency of its power. Let it quiet the noise. Let it reveal truth. You are not falling behind. You are being positioned. You are not missing out. You are being spared. And one day, sooner than you think, you will look back on this delay with gratitude instead of grief. You will see clearly what you avoided. You will understand what you were protected from. And you will thank me for slowing your steps when you wanted to run. Trust me in the waiting. Delay is not the enemy. It is mercy in motion. My child, I know the fear that presses against your heart right now. It whispers that if you walk away, if you pause, if you choose restraint, you will miss something important. It tells you this was your chance, your window, your moment, and if you do not take it, it will disappear forever. But listen to me with your whole heart. You are not missing out. That fear is not intuition. It is illusion. The enemy has always used the lie of scarcity to rush my children into decisions they later regret. He tells you that opportunities are rare, that timing is fragile, that blessings expire quickly. But I am not a God of scarcity. I am a God of abundance. What is meant for you cannot be stolen by waiting. What is assigned to you cannot be lost by obedience. If something requires you to abandon peace to obtain it, it was never meant to be yours. You are not stepping away from destiny. You are stepping away from distraction. Missing out would be choosing something that looks good now but steals from you later. Missing out would be ignoring wisdom and calling it bravery. Missing out would be trading alignment for immediacy. And that is not what you are doing here. Hear me carefully, my child, because fear of missing out is powerful precisely because it feels logical. It tells you that others will move ahead while you stand still. It tells you that doors close quickly and rarely reopen. It tells you that waiting is risky and restraint is foolish. But that voice has never led you to peace. It has only led you to exhaustion. Every time you rushed because you were afraid of losing something, you paid a price. Every time you ignored discernment because you feared being left behind, you had to recover later. I do not want you recovering again. I want you resting in confidence. What is from me does not compete with time. You arrives fully formed, fully aligned, fully safe. You are not late. You are not behind. You are not less favored because you refuse to run after what pressures you. The enemy says, take it now or lose it forever. I say, trust me, and you will lose nothing that matters. Let that truth settle. Let it quiet the panic. Let it replace fear with assurance. My beloved child, there is a deeper truth I want you to see. Sometimes what you think you are missing out on is actually what has been missing from you: peace, clarity, wholeness. By stepping back, you are not losing momentum. You are regaining yourself. You are reclaiming the quiet confidence that comes from knowing you did not betray your values for speed. You are choosing depth over display, wisdom over noise, alignment over applause. That is not loss. That is gain. You will not look back on this moment with regret. You will look back with relief. Relief that you did not chase what was never yours. Relief that you trusted me when fear tried to hurry you. Relief that you learned to wait without panicking. You are not missing out, my child. You are being protected. My child, understand this clearly now. This moment is not primarily a test of courage, strength, or endurance. It is a test of discernment. I am not asking how much you can handle. I am asking how clearly you can see. Discernment is the ability to recognize what looks right but is not aligned, what feels urgent but is not wise, what is available but not assigned. And discernment only grows when it is exercised. That is why moments like this matter. You could move forward blindly and call it faith, but faith without discernment becomes presumption. You could endure discomfort and call it strength, but strength without wisdom becomes stubbornness. I am inviting you to choose differently, not because you are weak, but because you are ready to see more deeply. This test is quiet. There is no spotlight, no applause, no dramatic stake visible on the surface. But in the unseen realm, this is significant. Your response here will shape how you hear me later. When you honor discernment now, you sharpen it for the future. When you ignore it now, you dull it for seasons to come. Listen closely, my child, because discernment often requires you to disappoint your impulses. It requires you to resist excitement. It requires you to pause when everything around you encourages motion. That is why so few develop it deeply, because it is easier to act than to discern. Discernment requires stillness. It requires honesty. It requires the humility to admit that not every good-looking option is a God-sent one. This test is asking you one simple question. Will you trust the quiet voice over the loud invitation? Will you trust peace over pressure? Will you trust alignment over urgency? You already know the answer in your spirit. You felt it before I named it. And now that it has been named, you are responsible for how you respond. I am not testing you to trap you. I am testing you to prepare you. Those who discern well are entrusted with more. Not more pressure, but more responsibility, more clarity, more peace. My beloved child, do not fear this test. You are not being graded. You are being guided. You are not expected to be perfect. You are expected to be attentive. And you are. That is why you are still here. That is why you are still listening. Discernment is not about never making mistakes. It is about learning to recognize truth sooner. And right now, you are recognizing it. This moment will pass, but the wisdom you gain from it will remain. Choose discernment now, and future decisions will feel clearer. Choose discernment now, and pressure will lose its power over you. Choose discernment now, and you will walk forward with confidence that does not need to prove itself. Stay with me, my child. You are learning how to see. My child, this is the heart of everything I have been saying to you. I am asking you to trust me over urgency, not over logic, not over opportunity, over urgency. Because urgency is the loudest rival to trust. Urgency tells you that you must act now or lose everything. Trust tells you that nothing meant for you can outrun obedience. Urgency shouts. Trust speaks steadily. Urgency presses your chest. Trust steadies your breath. Urgency demands movement. Trust invites stillness. And right now, these two voices are competing inside you. I know how convincing urgency feels. It disguises itself as responsibility, as decisiveness, as courage. It tells you that hesitation is failure and speed is strength. But I am telling you something different. I am telling you that trust sometimes looks like waiting when everything in you wants to move. Trust sometimes looks like restraint when others are applauding action. Trust sometimes looks like silence when urgency is demanding a response. I am not asking you to trust blindly. I am asking you to trust relationally, to trust me as your father, not as a distant authority. I see the whole picture. I know what is ahead. I know what is hidden. And I would not ask you to slow down if speed were safe. Listen carefully, my child, because this is where faith becomes practical. Faith is not proven by how fast you move. It is proven by how deeply you listen. Anyone can act quickly. Few can wait wisely. Urgency creates the illusion that movement equals progress, but progress without alignment becomes exhaustion. You have felt that exhaustion before. You have lived it. You have rushed ahead and paid the price later. That is why I am asking you now to trust me over urgency. Not because urgency is always wrong, but because urgency without peace is never for me. When I move urgently, I also bring clarity. When I call you to act swiftly, I remove confusion. But what you are feeling now is urgency wrapped in uncertainty, pressure wrapped in doubt, speed wrapped in unease. That is not my voice. And the more you trust urgency, the quieter trust becomes. But when you choose trust, even when urgency screams, something shifts. Your spirit steadies. Your mind clears. Your strength returns. Trust is not passive. It is an active decision to believe that I am not late, that I am not distracted, that I am not unaware of your situation. My beloved child, trusting me over urgency is an act of surrender. It says, I will not be bullied by fear. It says, I will not be rushed past wisdom. It says, I believe that my Father knows how to lead me better than pressure ever could. You are not falling behind by trusting me. You are stepping into alignment. You are choosing depth over haste, peace over panic, wisdom over impulse. And I promise you this, you will never regret choosing trust over urgency. You may regret what you avoided. You may later see clearly what you escaped. But you will not regret trusting me. Stay here with me. Let urgency burn itself out. Trust will remain. My child, there will come a day, clearer, calmer, lighter, when you will look back on this moment and say, thank you for stopping me. You may not feel that gratitude fully right now, because wisdom often feels restrictive before it feels relieving. Protection often feels inconvenient before it feels necessary. What that day will come, you will see what you almost stepped into. You will understand what you narrowly avoided. You will recognize the cost you were spared. And in that moment, gratitude will rise, not because everything was easy, but because you listened when it mattered. I am not asking you to imagine regret. I am asking you to imagine relief. Relief that you did not have to untangle yourself later. Relief that you did not have to heal from something you could have avoided. Relief that you trusted the warning instead of testing the danger. That relief is waiting for you on the other side of obedience. Listen closely, my child, because perspective always comes later, but wisdom acts now. When you are inside the moment, clarity feels partial. Emotion clouds vision. Pressure distorts priorities. But later, when the noise fades, truth becomes obvious. And that is when many say, I wish I had listened. You are being given the chance to listen now. To spare yourself that sentence. To spare yourself that recovery. I am speaking ahead of time because I love you enough to prevent pain rather than only comfort you afterward. That does not mean life will be painless. It means this pain is not necessary. There are battles you must fight and wounds you must heal, but this is not one of them. This is a lesson you can learn without suffering, and that is a gift many never receive. Do not dismiss it. My beloved child, one day you will thank me not only for what you avoided, but for who you became by listening. You will thank me for the confidence that grew when you honored discernment. You will thank me for the peace that replaced pressure. You will thank me for the strength that came from restraint. And perhaps most of all, you will thank me for learning that obedience is not loss. It is protection in motion. A day will come, and when it does, you will not remember the urgency that once felt so loud. You will remember the still voice that guided you safely through it. Stay with me, my child. We are almost finished. My child, this is where everything I have been saying converges into one simple, powerful instruction. Choose stillness over speed. Speed feels impressive. Speed feels productive. Speed feels like strength in a world that fears falling behind. But speed without discernment has ruined more destinies than hesitation ever has. Stillness, on the other hand, looks unimpressive on the outside but powerful in the unseen. Stillness gives wisdom room to breathe. Stillness allows truth to surface without distortion. Stillness exposes motives, yours and others. When you slow down, you begin to notice what speed hides: inconsistencies, pressures, hidden costs, misalignments. That is why the enemy hates stillness. Stillness strips urgency of its power. Stillness breaks momentum that was carrying you toward compromise. Stillness reconnects you to your inner compass, the one I placed inside you. You do not need to rush to prove faith. Faith is not frantic. Faith is anchored. Faith waits when waiting is wiser. And right now, stillness is not avoidance. It is obedience. Listen carefully, my child, because stillness is not inactivity. It is intentional restraint. It is choosing to stop moving long enough to see clearly. Speed tells you that stopping is dangerous. Stillness reveals that stopping is protective. Speed pushes you into decisions you must later defend. Stillness leads you into decisions you can rest in. You have lived long enough to know the difference. You have rushed before, and you remember the recovery it required. You have moved too fast before, and you remember the confusion that followed. I am not bringing that up to shame you, but to remind you. You already know where speed leads when it is not guided. Stillness may feel uncomfortable at first because it removes distraction. It forces you to sit with truth. But that discomfort is cleansing, not harmful. It is the discomfort of clarity settling in. When you choose stillness now, you are choosing to see with both eyes open instead of sprinting forward half blind. My beloved child, choosing stillness over speed is choosing alignment over appearance. It is choosing depth over display. It is choosing long-term peace over short-term relief. The world will always reward speed. I reward obedience. The world applauds motion. I honor discernment. You do not need to fear that stillness will cause you to miss what is meant for you. What is truly meant for you will meet you in stillness just as easily as in motion. Take your hands off the rush. Let the pressure fall away. Sit with me here for a moment longer. Stillness is not where you get stuck. It is where you get oriented. And once you are oriented, every step forward becomes safer, clearer, and stronger. My child, we have arrived at the moment of decision. Not because I am rushing you, but because clarity has been given. You have been warned gently, repeatedly, lovingly. You have been shown the trap, the pressure, the illusion, the exit. Now, remaining undecided would be choosing drift over direction. So I say this with calm authority and deep affection. Decide now, and decide wisely. This decision does not require drama. It does not require confrontation. It requires resolve. A quiet, settled resolve in your heart that says, I will not step into what steals my peace. Wisdom is not loud. It is firm. And firmness does not shout. It stands. You already know what the wise choice is. Your spirit recognized it long before your mind caught up. And now your mind must agree with what your spirit already understands. Listen to me, my child, because deciding wisely does not mean deciding perfectly. It means deciding honestly. It means choosing alignment over appetite, truth over urgency, peace over pressure. The enemy hopes you will postpone long enough for pressure to regain control. I am asking you to settle this in your heart now, while clarity is still strong. You do not need to fear making the wrong choice if you choose obedience. Obedience recalibrates even imperfect steps. But ignoring wisdom fractures clarity. Decide now, not because time is running out, but because indecision keeps you standing where danger can reach you. Movement away from the trap, even slow movement, is safer than standing still in its reach. Decide to step back. Decide to close the door. Decide to trust me more than the noise. This decision will not shrink your life. It will protect it. My beloved child, hear this as my final word in this message. You are not being tested to fail. You are being positioned to grow. This decision is not about what you lose. It is about what you preserve. You preserve your peace. You preserve your discernment. You preserve your future. And when you look back on this moment, because one day you will remember not the pressure, not the urgency, not the fear. You will remember the stillness. You will remember the clarity. You will remember that you chose wisely when it mattered most. Decide now, my child. Decide with courage. Decide with humility. Decide with trust. I am with you, and I will remain with you every step after this choice. My beloved child, you have been brought to clarity, and now clarity must move. Just as you are deciding wisely for your own life, I am calling you to help others do the same. This is not coincidence, it is appointment. When you give in this moment, you are planting fire into the earth, releasing manna where hunger has been long, and strengthening voices that call my children away from the trap. Remember what I have spoken. Cast your bread upon the waters, and you will find it after many days. Your super thanks, your membership, your PayPal gift becomes a shield for souls you may never meet until eternity. I will protect your future, multiply your seed, and establish your steps, because you chose obedience when it mattered. Decide now. Support this work now. Give now. And let my word continue to move without restraint. My child, do not let this word end in silence. If your spirit has recognized the warning and chosen wisdom, declare it now. Type "I choose stillness over speed" in the comments as a public seal of obedience. If you felt the pull of the trap but chose the exit, write "I will not be rushed" and let heaven witness your decision. Your declaration is not for applause. It is for alignment. Speak it, so fear loses its grip and clarity takes its place. Decide openly. Decide boldly. This is how you step out of the trap and into peace. And once you have spoken it, allow the rush within you to slow. Stillness is not weakness. It is where discernment begins to awaken. When you refuse to be hurried, you begin to notice what was hidden beneath the noise. Your decision has cleared space in your spirit, and now you can sense what is truly happening around you. So lift your attention, because peace prepares your heart to recognize moments that carry greater weight. My child, look at me. I need you to listen with your whole heart because the atmosphere around you is shifting, and I don't want you to miss the weight of this moment. You can feel it, can't you? You feel that heaviness in the air, that unexplained tension that keeps you up at night, or that nagging sense that something isn't quite right. I am telling you now that this isn't just a bad week or a streak of bad luck. There is a spiritual weight to this very hour, a density that demands your full attention. You have been walking through your days as if time is infinite, as if you can afford to be casual with your soul, but I am here to wake you up. I see the way you've been drifting, letting the noise of the world dull your senses, and I am calling you back to a place of absolute awareness. Stop what you are doing. Breathe in my presence right now and realize that the ground you are standing on is a battlefield. You cannot afford to be a spectator anymore. I want you to understand the strategy of the thief in the night. You often think of danger as something loud and obvious, like a storm breaking your windows, but the enemy of your soul is much more calculated than that. He doesn't always come with a shout. He comes with a whisper, a slow leak, a quiet theft of your peace while you are looking the other way. He waits for the moment you are most tired, the moment you are distracted by your bills, your phone, or your own frustrations, and then he begins to strip away your spiritual strength. I am sounding the alarm because your immediate attention is required. This isn't a suggestion. It is a matter of your salvation and your future. You are at a crossroads where your next few decisions will determine the trajectory of your life. If you stay asleep, if you keep telling yourself that you'll get serious about me tomorrow, you are walking straight into a trap. I love you too much to let you sleep through your own destruction. Recognize the atmospheric shift that has taken place in your life. You've noticed that things feel different lately. The pressure at your job is sharper. The arguments in your home are more frequent, and the silence when you try to pray feels heavier. These are not coincidences. These are the signs of a season of war. You have entered a territory where your old ways of coping will no longer work. You cannot fight a spiritual war with worldly weapons. You cannot solve a heart problem with more money or more distractions. I am commanding you to watch and pray without ceasing. This means I want you to live with your eyes wide open. I want you to look at every conversation, every thought, and every opportunity through the lens of my truth. Do not just take things at face value. Ask me, Father, what is really happening here? I will give you the eyes to see the hidden things, but you must be willing to look. I see the spiritual slumber that has tried to overtake you. It's like a warm blanket of fine enough that makes you feel safe while the house is on fire. You say to yourself, I'm a good person, or I'll pray later. But while you sleep, the enemy is planting weeds in your garden. Wake up, my beloved. Shake off the lethargy. I am inviting you into a state of holy vigilance. I am not telling you this to make you afraid. I am telling you this to make you powerful. A soldier who knows he is in a war is a soldier who survives. I am your commander, and I am telling you that the gates are under attack. Your mind is the target. Your family is the target. Your very destiny is the target. But I am here, and I am greater than anything trying to pull you under. I promise you that if you turn your focus to me right now, I will sharpen your instincts. I will make your spirit sensitive to the slightest move of the enemy. You will not be caught off guard. I will guide your steps through this minefield, but you must stay close to my side. You cannot wander off into the shadows and expect to remain safe. My command is simple. Stay awake. Keep your lamp lit. Don't let the oil of my spirit run dry because you were too busy with things that don't matter. I am calling you into a deeper connection, a constant dialogue where my voice is the loudest thing in your life. Listen to me. The hour is late, but my grace is sufficient. I am with you, I am for you, and I am leading you to victory. But you must choose to stand up and walk with me today. My child, listen closely because I want to pull back the curtain on how the enemy actually works in your daily life. You often look for a monster, but the enemy rarely arrives as a shadow in the night. More often, he arrives as a blessing you've been waiting for. I need you to understand that a trap is only effective if it looks like something you want. If it looked like death, you run. If it looked like a cage, you avoid it. But because it looks like a promotion that requires you to sacrifice your family, or a new relationship that pulls you away from my presence, you walk right into it. I see you standing at the edge of decisions that feel right to your flesh but are toxic to your spirit. You must develop the discernment to see the hook inside the bait. You often ask me for open doors, and I love to give them to you. But you must realize that the enemy can also open a door, not to lead you to a destination, but to lead you into a snare. I want you to look at the golden calves you have built in your modern life. You don't bow down to statues of gold, but you bow down to the digital screen, to the approval of strangers, and to the pursuit of comfort at any cost. You have made an idol out of your own security, and the enemy is using that very desire against you. He whispers that you need just a little more money, just a little more fame, or just a little more control before you can truly serve me. He uses your natural, God-given desires, the desire to be loved, the desire to provide, the desire to succeed, and he twists them until they become the very chains that bind you. I am inviting you to stop taking the path of least resistance. You often assume that if something is easy, it must be my will. I am telling you today that the wide road, the easy path, is almost always a snare. My path often requires a climb. It requires you to say no to your impulses so you can say yes to my purpose. I see the whispers you've been listening to, the ones that contradict my word but feel good to your ego. They tell you that everyone is doing it or that it's not that big of a deal. I am here to tell you it is a big deal. Every small compromise is a brick in a wall that shuts me out. Look at your life through my eyes right now. Is that opportunity actually a baited cage? Is that person you're letting speak into your life actually leading you toward my light? Or are they a Trojan horse designed to bring doubt into your sanctuary? I am your father, and I want to protect you from the heartbreak of a blessing that wasn't from me. I promise you, if you surrender your desires to me, I will give you what is truly good. I will give you doors that no man can shut and no enemy can bait. I command you to test every good thing against the peace of my spirit. If the peace isn't there, the door isn't mine. Walk away from the bait. Trust my hand to lead you to the feast I have actually prepared for you. My beloved, I am speaking to you with a sense of urgency because later is the enemy's favorite word for your soul. He knows he doesn't have to convince you to reject me entirely. He only has to convince you to wait until tomorrow. I see the way you have been delaying the changes I've asked you to make. You tell me you'll start that prayer habit when the kids are older, or you will give up that secret habit once work gets less stressful. I am telling you that tomorrow is a land that does not exist. All you have is the now I have given you. Your salvation, your peace, and your purpose are time sensitive. I am calling you to return to your first love today, not when you feel like you have it all together. I see the chains of one more time thinking that have kept you in a loop for years. One more drink, one more look, one more day of laziness. Each time you say one more time, you are strengthening the very cage you are praying for me to break. I am ready to break it, but I need your decisive yes. You cannot wait for the feeling of motivation to strike you like lightning. Obedience is a choice, not a feeling. I am telling you plainly, delayed obedience is actually disobedience. When I tell you to move and you wait, you are telling me that your timing is better than mine. Step out of the shadows and into my light this very moment. I see you hiding your struggles because you're ashamed, but the shadows are where the enemy has power over you. In the light, his power evaporates. I am inviting you to a radical, immediate surrender. Do not wait for the sun to set before you make things right with me. I hear your silent prayers where you ask for a sign, but this is your sign. My voice reaching out to you through these words is the signal you've been waiting for. I am calling you forward, into the life I designed for you. I promise you that the moment you take that first step of obedience, my power will meet you there. You don't need to see the whole staircase. You just need to take the first step. I will give you the strength you lack. I will provide the wisdom you need. But I will not do for you what I have commanded you to do for yourself, which is to choose me over your comfort. I am your God, and I am calling you out of the cycle of someday. Make today the day your testimony begins. I am standing here with open arms, ready to transform your yes into a miracle. Do not let another hour slip through your fingers. The time is now. My child, I want you to imagine your heart as a sacred garden, the place where I come to walk with you. But I see that the fences are down and the gates are wide open. You are letting anything and everything enter your inner sanctum. I need you to understand that what you see, what you hear, and what you meditate upon are the seeds being planted in your soul. If you spend your hours consuming the chaos, the anger, and the filth of the world, you cannot expect to harvest my peace. I am commanding you to set a watch over the gates of your heart. You must become a gatekeeper of your own mind. I see your emotional vulnerabilities. I know the places where you are easily hurt, where you are prone to jealousy, or where you feel inadequate. The enemy knows these places too, and he targets them with precision. He sends Trojan horses into your inner circle, people who seem supportive but carry the seeds of gossip and division. He sends images through your screens that ignite old fires you thought were extinguished. I am telling you to be ruthless with what you allow into your space. If a relationship makes you feel far from me, distance yourself. If a habit clouds your spirit, cut it off. This isn't about being perfect. It's about being consecrated. It's about being set apart for my use. In this chaotic world, a consecrated mind is your only hope for stability. You wonder why you feel so anxious, but look at what you are feeding your spirit. You are eating the bread of the world's worries and expecting it to sustain you. I am inviting you to feast on the daily bread of my scripture instead. My word is not just a book of rules. It is a spiritual fortification. It builds a wall around your mind that the enemy cannot scale. When he whispers a lie, my word provides the truth that exposes him. I want you to realize how the enemy gains a foothold through small compromises. He doesn't need to take your whole heart at once. He just needs one small corner. He just needs you to keep one small resentment, one harmless secret, or one tiny bit of pride. I am asking you to do a house cleaning of your spirit with me. Let's look at the gates together. What have you been looking at? What have you been listening to? Who have you been allowing to influence your thoughts? I am your shield, but you must lift me up. I am your fortress, but you must step inside. I promise to protect you, but I am calling you to the responsibility of the watchman. Guard your heart, my beloved, for everything in your life flows from it. My child, there is a roar of voices in your ears every single day. The world is shouting its opinions, your past is screaming its failures, and your own fears are whispering their what-ifs. I need you to learn to recognize my voice in the midst of the clamor. My voice has a specific frequency. It doesn't sound like the frantic, rushed, or condemning voices of the world. My voice is the hallmark of peace, a peace that surpasses your understanding, even when your circumstances make no sense. If a voice makes you feel panicked, hopeless, or worthless, I am telling you right now, that is not me. I want to teach you how to spot the half-truths that lead to destruction. This is the enemy's most dangerous tool. He will take a little bit of my word and wrap it in a lie. He will tell you that God wants you to be happy, and then use that to justify a sin that will eventually destroy your joy. He will tell you that God is love, and then use it to make you believe that your choices don't have consequences. I am commanding you to test every spirit against the unchanging truth of my word. If it doesn't align with who I have revealed myself to be, reject it immediately. I see how the noise of the world has made you spiritually deaf. You are so busy reacting to the news, the social media drama, and the demands of others that you've lost the ability to hear my whisper. I often speak in the silence, in the gentle nudge of your spirit, or in the quiet conviction of your heart. I am inviting you to silence the world so you can hear your Creator. I have given you the Holy Spirit as your internal compass. He is there to guide you, to warn you, and to comfort you. But you must learn to check in with Him before you move. Stop asking the world for advice that only I can give. The world cannot tell you who you are because the world didn't make you. I am the only one with the right to define you. I declare that you are mine, you are forgiven, and you are empowered. Any voice that tells you otherwise is a deceiver. I promise that as you spend time in my presence, my voice will become the clearest thing you know. You will be able to walk through a crowded, noisy room and hear my whisper calling your name. I am your truth. I am your light. Let me be the only voice that has the final say in your life. My beloved, do not turn away now, for we have only just begun to uncover the shadows that have kept you bound. It would deeply grieve my heart to see you walk away when the most critical revelations of your freedom are still waiting to be spoken. If you silence my voice at this moment, you are choosing to remain in the danger of the half-light instead of stepping into the full radiance of my protection. Stay with me, for I am speaking not just to your ears, but to the very survival of your soul. Do not let the enemy convince you that you have heard enough. I have so much more to reveal, and I cannot bear to see you face the coming storm unprepared. My beloved, I need to speak to you about the busyness that is slowly suffocating your soul. You wear your crowded schedule like a badge of honor, but I see it for what it often is, a weapon the enemy is using to keep you from me. If he cannot make you bad, he will simply make you busy. He knows that if he can keep your hands full of temporary things, your heart will be too exhausted for the eternal ones. I am asking you to look at your life and identify the idols that are stealing your time. An idol isn't always something evil. It can be a good thing that has taken my place. I see you seeking validation from the opinions of men, spending hours curating an image for people who do not truly know you. You are chasing the likes and the follows while the one who died for you is waiting for a single moment of your undivided attention. Reclaim your focus from the digital noise. The endless scrolling and the constant notifications are designed to keep your spirit in a state of agitation. I am calling you to a life that is deep, not just wide. A cluttered life leads to a clouded spirit. You cannot see the path I have for you because you are looking at too many things at once. I want you to prioritize the eternal over the fleeting. Your job, your house, and your social status are all things that will eventually fade away. But your soul, and the souls of those around you, will last forever. I am inviting you to a radical pruning of your life. What can you let go of so you could have more of me? I see the tension in your shoulders from trying to do it all. I never asked you to do it all. I asked you to follow me. When you follow me, I will show you what to pick up and what to put down. I promise you that if you give me the first fruits of your time, I will multiply the rest of your day. You will accomplish more in an hour of my strength than in a lifetime of your own striving. I am your rest. I am your focus. I command you to set boundaries around your soul. Turn off the noise. Put down the distractions. Come away with me to a quiet place and let me restore your perspective. I have so much I want to show you, but I need you to look at me. You were made for more than just managing a schedule. You were made for a divine relationship. Come back to the center. Come back to me. My child, I want you to walk through this world not as one who is blind, but as one who sees with the eyes of my spirit. I am calling you to a higher level of awareness because the days of guessing are over. I am inviting you to ask for the gift of discernment in every single decision you make, from the smallest choice to the life-altering transitions. You often rely on your logic, your pros and cons lists, and the advice of your friends, but I am telling you that human wisdom has a ceiling. There are things happening beneath the surface of your life that your eyes cannot see and your ears cannot hear. I want you to look past the surface of things. When an opportunity presents itself, do not just look at the potential for profit or the shiny exterior. Ask me to show you the heart of the matter. Is there a hidden motive? Is there a trap being set for your integrity? I am your father, and I want to give you the inside track on your own life. I want you to realize that your intuition, that gut feeling that tells you to pause, to lean in, or to walk away, is often my spirit speaking directly to your soul. You have spent years training yourself to ignore that inner nudge, because the world calls it irrational. But I am telling you it is your greatest survival tool. When you feel a sudden check in your spirit during a conversation, that is me warning you. When you feel a sense of peace about a path that looks difficult, that is me confirming you. Do not dismiss these moments. I am your internal compass, and I am trying to navigate you through a minefield of dissection. I am commanding you to sharpen your spiritual senses through the discipline of fasting and prayer. Just as a knife is sharpened against a stone, your spirit is sharpened when you set aside the physical to focus on the spiritual. When you quiet the belly and the ego, you amplify my voice. I want you to start recognizing the patterns of the past so you do not fall into the same traps again. The enemy is not creative, my beloved. He is just persistent. He uses the same hooks on you that worked 10 years ago because he is betting on your lack of discernment. I want you to look back at the seasons where you felt trapped. What were the early warning signs you ignored? What were the compromises you made that led to the snare? I am not showing you this to make you feel guilty, but to make you wise. I am giving you a divine memory so you can spot the enemy's signature from a mile away. I promise to provide you with wisdom liberally and without reproach, but you must be humble enough to ask for it. Do not lean on your own understanding. Admit to me that you don't know the way, and I will take your hand and lead you through the darkness. I am inviting you to a life of spiritual precision. Stop living by accident and start living by revelation. I want you to be the person who walks into a room and senses the atmosphere immediately. I want you to be the one who can see through the lies of a half-truth because you are so grounded in my absolute truth. My spirit is searching the deep things of your heart right now, removing the scales from your eyes. I am declaring over you that you will no longer be easily fooled. You will no longer be a victim of your own naivety. You are becoming a watchman. You are becoming a person of deep insight. I command you to listen to the silence between the words people speak. I command you to look for my thumbprint on your daily path. I am with you, and I am giving you the mind of Christ. Walk in this authority today, knowing that I have already seen what is around the corner, and I am guiding you with a steady, loving hand. My child, I need you to understand that the battle you are feeling is real, but I also need you to remember that the victory is already mine. You are not fighting for victory. You are fighting from a place of victory. However, the enemy is still firing fiery darts at your mind every single day. These are the sudden thoughts of hopelessness, the arrows of you aren't good enough, and the piercing doubts about my love for you. I see you standing there, feeling exposed and weary, but I am telling you to lift your shield. Your faith is not just a feeling. It is a defensive weapon. It is the barrier that catches the lies of the enemy and extinguishes their fire before they can burn your soul. When the pressure intensifies and the world feels like it's closing in, do not drop your guard. It is the moment to hold your shield higher than ever before. I want to teach you how to counter the enemy's lies with specific promises. You cannot fight a thought with another thought. You must fight a thought with a declaration of my word. When the enemy tells you that you will fail, I want you to declare, "My God shall supply all my needs according to his riches in glory." When he tells you that you are alone, I want you to shout, "I will never leave you nor forsake you." I see the way you sometimes entertain the lies, turning them over in your mind like a puzzle. Stop doing that. The enemy's lies are not puzzles to be solved, they are fires to be put out. I am giving you the power of your testimony as a defensive weapon. Remind yourself, and the devil, of the times I have saved you before. Remind yourself of the times I provided a way when there was no way. Your history with me is a wall that the enemy cannot break through. I want you to stay rooted in what I have already told you. The enemy's favorite trap is to make you question my last instruction. He wants to make you doubt in the dark what I told you in the light. He asks, did God really say just as he did in the garden, he is doing in your life? I am commanding you to stand firm. Do not move from the ground I gave you. Your faith is the primary target of the enemy's trap because he knows that if he can steal your faith, he can steal your future. He doesn't care about your money or your comfort as much as he cares about your trust in me. If you lose your trust, you lose your connection to my power. But I am declaring right now that your faith will not fail. I am the author and the finisher of your faith, and I am strengthening your grip on that shield this very moment. I am inviting you to a place of unshakable confidence. I want you to look at the fiery darts and laugh, knowing they cannot touch the real you. I am wrapping my protection around you like a cloak of fire. You are under my shadow, and no weapon formed against you shall prosper. This is not a motivational quote. This is a legal reality in my kingdom. I see the arrows that have hit you in the past, and I am healing those wounds right now. I am restoring your courage. I am renewing your strength. Lift your head, my beloved child. You are a warrior, and you are backed by the hosts of heaven. I command you to speak to the mountain of your problems and tell it about the greatness of your God. I am your shield. I am your glory, and I am the lifter of your head. Do not be afraid of the noise. Stay focused on my face, and we will walk through the fire together without even the smell of smoke on your clothes. My child, I need to speak to you about the cold, paralyzing grip of fear that has been trying to settle in your heart. Fear is not just an emotion. It is a spiritual trap designed to keep you from taking the actions I have called you to take. I see you standing at the edge of your destiny, but you are frozen. You are suffering from paralysis by analysis, thinking about every possible thing that could go wrong until you are too afraid to move at all. I am telling you today that fear is a liar and a thief. It steals your sleep, it steals your joy, and it steals your ability to see the path I have laid out for you. I have not given you a spirit of fear, but of power, of love, and of a sound mind. Any voice that tells you to be afraid of the future is not my voice. I am commanding you to be bold and courageous in my name. This does not mean you will never feel fear, but it means you will not let fear lead you. Courage is doing what I've asked you to do even while your hands are shaking. I see the valleys you are walking through, and I know the shadows look like monsters. But remember, a shadow cannot hurt you. It only exists because there is a light shining nearby. I am that light. I am walking right beside you in the valley, and my rod and my staff are there to comfort you. I want you to replace the spirit of fear with a spirit of power. You have the authority to command fear to leave your presence. You do not have to live as a slave to your what-ifs. I am inviting you to trust my hand even when the path is not visible. Faith is walking into the fog because you know I am on the other side. I want you to recognize how the enemy uses fear to keep you in a cycle of smallness. He tells you that if you take a risk, you will lose everything. He tells you that you aren't strong enough to handle the pressure. But I am your strength. I am the one who holds the universe together, and I am the one who is holding your life. I am declaring that the spirit of intimidation is broken over you right now. You will no longer shrink back in the face of challenges. You will no longer hide your light because you're afraid of what people will think. I am giving you a sound mind, a mind that is clear, focused, and rooted in my reality. When the world is panicking, you will be the one who is calm, because your anchor is in me. I am promising you that I will be your rear guard. I have gone before you to level the mountains, and I am standing behind you to protect your back. You are completely surrounded by my love. I want you to take a deep breath right now and let the tension leave your body. I am in control. You don't have to figure it all out today. You just have to trust me for this next step. I am calling you to walk through the doors I have opened with your head held high. Do not look to the left or to the right. Look at me. I am your hiding place and your fortress. I command you to cast every care and every fear onto me, for I care for you with an everlasting love. The snare of fear is broken, and you are free to fly. Walk out of that cage and don't look back. My beloved, I want to talk to you about one of the most dangerous pitfalls you face, the trap of leaning on your own understanding. I see your strength, I see your intelligence, and I see your capability. After all, I gave them to you. But there is a deception that says, I can do it myself. This is the root of pride, and it is a snare that leads to exhaustion and failure. When you try to carry the weight of your life on your own shoulders, you are stepping out from under my protection and trying to be your own God. I am telling you today that your strength is a beautiful gift, but it was never meant to be your foundation. I am your foundation. I am inviting you to the beauty of total surrender and dependence on me. Pride goes before a fall, not because I am waiting to punish you, but because pride makes you blind to the holes in the ground. When you think you have it all figured out, You stop asking for my guidance. When you think you are the source of your own success, you stop giving me the glory. This creates a gap between us that the enemy loves to exploit. I see the Tower of Babel you have been building in your own life, the plans you've made without consulting me, the relationships you've built on your own terms, and the security you've tried to create with your own hands. I am asking you to let it all go. I am asking you to embrace the strength that is found only in your weakness. When you are at the end of yourself, that is where I truly begin. I want you to find safety in the shadow of my wings, not in the shadow of your own ego. There is a peace that comes when you finally admit, "Father, I can't do this without you." That is not a statement of defeat. It is a statement of power. It is the moment my grace floods into your situation. I am your provider, your protector, and your waymaker. Why are you striving so hard to do what only I can do? I am commanding you to humble yourself under my mighty hand, and I promise to exalt you in due time. This means putting my will above your own desires. It means being willing to be wrong so that I can be right. It means trusting me with the outcomes instead of trying to manipulate the circumstances. I am declaring a season of holy dependence over your life. I want you to wake up every morning and ask, "Father, what are we doing today?" I want our lives to be so intertwined that you don't even want to breathe without me. I see the pressure you've put on yourself to be perfect and in control, and I am telling you to drop the act. You are my child, not my employee. You don't have to earn my love or my help through your self-reliance. I promise that when you lean on me, the path will become clearer and the burden will become lighter. I am your rock, and I am more than enough for everything you are facing. Stop trying to be the hero of your own story and let me be the God of your life. Surrender is not losing. It is finally winning the battle against the heavy weight of yourself. Child, pause and realize the weight of this encounter. I am pouring my very spirit into you, and to stop now would be to leave my work in you unfinished. It would disappoint me greatly to see you settle for a partial healing when I am prepared to offer you a total transformation of your destiny. You are standing at the threshold of a breakthrough, and to turn back now is to tell me that your comfort is more important than our connection. I am calling you deeper because I love you too much to let you walk away with only half the armor you need for the battle ahead. Listen closely, for the next words I speak are the ones your heart has been crying out for in the dark. My child, now that you have laid down the heavy burden of self-reliance, I am inviting you to become a strategic partner in my kingdom work. Just as you have learned that your strength comes from me, realize that the resources I have placed in your hands are seeds intended for a global harvest of souls. There is a time-sensitive urgency to carry this message of vigilance to those still trapped in the enemy's sleep, and I am asking you to fuel this mission today. When you sow through a super thanks, join our membership, or give via PayPal, you are not just making a donation, you are providing the spiritual oil that keeps the lamps of the weary burning bright. I declare over you that as you honor me with your substance, I will open the windows of heaven and pour out a blessing so great you cannot contain it. Do not let this divine appointment pass you by, for the liberal soul shall be made fat, and he that waters shall be watered also himself. I command you to check the description now and plant your seed into this fertile ground, for your obedience is the key to another's rescue. My child, I want you to take a long, honest look at the people you have allowed into your inner circle. I need to ask you a very direct question. Who is whispering in your ear? You are a product of the company you keep, and I see that some of the people you call friends are actually anchors holding you back from my purpose. There is a danger in being unequally yoked. And I am not just talking about marriage. I am talking about your business partners, your close confidants, and the people you spend your Friday nights with. If they do not love me, if they do not respect my word, And if they constantly pull you toward the world, they are a toxic alliance. I am commanding you to examine your circle with my spirit as your guide. I see those who have been sent by the enemy to distract you rather than support you. They come with advice that sounds logical but is actually poison to your faith. They bring gossip that feels like connection but is actually death to your spirit. I am giving you the courage today to sever ties that are leading you away from me. This is not about being mean. It is about being faithful to your calling. You cannot walk into the new thing I have for you while you are still holding on to the people from your old life who refuse to change. I want you to seek the counsel of the godly, not the opinions of the many. One word from a person who truly knows me is worth more than 1,000 likes from the crowd. I want to speak to you about ungodly soul ties, those deep emotional connections to people from your past that still have a grip on your heart. Whether it is an ex-lover, a toxic parent, or a former friend, these ties act like spiritual invisible cords that the enemy uses to pull you back into old patterns of pain and sin. I am telling you that it is time to cut the cords. You cannot be fully mine while you are still emotionally enslaved to someone else's approval or someone else's trauma. I am your deliverer, and I am ready to break those ties right now. I am inviting you to a place of holy isolation if necessary, so that I can be the primary voice in your life. Sometimes I pull you away from the crowd not to punish you, but to protect you. I am promising you that if you have the courage to let go of the wrong people, I will bring the right people into your life. I will bring Barnabas figures who will encourage you, Paul figures who will mentor you, and Timothy figures you can pour into. I see the loneliness you fear, but I am telling you that it is better to be alone with me than to be in a crowded room where you have to hide your spirit. I am your best friend, your brother, and your king. I command you to set boundaries. Protect your peace. Do not give your pearls to those who will only trample them. I am building a kingdom family for you, but you must first clear the space by removing the Trojan horses that have infiltrated your life. Trust me to handle the fallout of your now. I have your back, and I am leading you toward a community that will sharpen you and love you for who you truly are in me. My beloved, I am calling you to a moment of deep, honest reflection because the door to your future cannot be fully opened until you close the door on the things that hinder your soul. Repentance is not a word of condemnation. It is my greatest gift to you. It is the divine reset button. I see the weight you carry, the secrets that keep you from looking me in the eye, the compromises that have slowly eroded your peace, and the habits that feel like a second skin. You feel that friction in your spirit, don't you? That is my Holy Spirit nudging you, not to shame you, but to save you. I am telling you today that you cannot fight the enemy while you are still holding his hand. You cannot expect to walk in my full authority while you are entertaining the very things that I died to set you free from. I am commanding you to realign your will with my divine purpose right now. This is a time-sensitive invitation to come home to the truth of who I made you to be. I want you to begin cleaning the leaven out of your spiritual house. Just as a small amount of yeast works through the whole lump of dough, a small compromise works through your entire life. I see the minor sins you've made peace with, the little white lies, the subtle pride, the hidden resentments. You think they are small, but they are the footholds the enemy uses to gain access to your heart. I'm inviting you to bring everything into the light. Do not hide from me. I already see it all, and I love you anyway. When you repent, you aren't telling me something I don't know. You are finally agreeing with me about the state of your heart. I promise you that the moment you offer me a contrite heart, immediate restoration begins. I don't need a long trial period to see if you will stay good. My blood is enough to wash you white as snow in a single heartbeat. I am calling you to a radical alignment. Look at your life, your finances, your relationships, your private thoughts, and ask me, Father, does this line up with your kingdom? If the answer is no, I am giving you the power to change it today. Stop waiting for a better time to get right with me. The enemy loves the word eventually, but I love the word today. I see the fatigue that comes from living a double life. You are exhausted from trying to keep one foot in the world and one foot in my kingdom. Let go of the world. It has nothing for you but empty promises and fading shadows. I have the fresh oil. I have the new beginning. I have the garment of praise for your spirit of heaviness. I am declaring a season of spiritual house cleaning over you. I am removing the clutter that has blocked the flow of my spirit in your life. I am closing the legal loopholes the enemy has used to harass you. When you align your life with my word, you step into a protected zone where the adversary has no claim. I command you to take the first step. Make that phone call to apologize. Delete that app that leads you astray. Give up that grudge you've been nursing like a pet. I am your Father, and I want you to walk in the freedom of a clear conscience. I promise that the joy of my salvation will be your strength the moment you turn back to me. You are my child, and I am ready to clothe you in my righteousness once again. Come, let us walk together in the light. My child, I want to talk to you about the reality of the pressure you are under. I know that sometimes it feels like you are walking through a minefield, never knowing when the next explosion of temptation will occur. I want you to hear me clearly. Being tempted is not a sin. Even my son was tempted in the wilderness. The sin is not in the suggestion. The sin is in the yielding. I see your struggle. I see the moments when your old life calls out to you, promising comfort or escape from the stress of your day. I am telling you today that you do not have to be a victim of your impulses. I have provided a way of escape in every single trial, but you must be willing to look for it and take it. I want you to recognize the specific triggers the enemy uses against you. He is a creature of habit, and he knows exactly which buttons to push to get a reaction. He knows when you are hungry, angry, lonely, or tired. He waits for the moment your guard is down to present you with a solution that is actually a snare. I am commanding you to be alert to these patterns. When you feel that familiar pull, stop and breathe in my presence. Do not react. Respond with my word. Your sword in the wilderness is the scripture. When the enemy says, just this once, you say, it is written, man shall not live by bread alone. I am inviting you to stay away from the edges of your convictions. If you know that a certain place or a certain person leads you to compromise, why are you standing so close to the fire? I see the weariness in your soul when the pressure feels overwhelming. You feel like you aren't strong enough to say no one more time. I am here to tell you that you are right. You aren't strong enough on your own. But my grace is sufficient for you. My power is made perfect in your weakness. Stop trying to white-knuckle your way through temptation. Instead, lean into me. Call out my name in the heat of the moment. I am the God who breaks the power of canceled sin. I am the one who gives you the want when your flesh is screaming for its own way. I am promising you that as you submit to me and resist the devil, he must flee from you. He isn't fleeing because of your strength. He is fleeing because of the one who stands behind you. I am declaring over you a spirit of self-control and a heart of iron. You will no longer be tossed to and fro by every whim of your emotions. I am rooting you deeply in my love, so that when the storms of temptation blow, you remain unshaken. I see the areas where you have failed in the past, and I am telling you to stop looking back. That person is dead. You are a new creation. You have my DNA running through your spiritual veins. I command you to walk in the authority of a conqueror. You are not a slave to your past. You are a steward of your future. I am your hiding place and your shield. When the enemy comes in like a flood, I will lift up a standard against him. Trust me to lead you through the minefield. I know where the path is safe, and I am holding your hand every step of the way. My beloved, I want to have a serious conversation about the most precious resource I have given you, your time. In these time-sensitive days, the stewardship of your hours is a matter of spiritual life and death. I see how you spend your days, and it breaks my heart to see you spending your life on things that do not satisfy. The enemy is a master thief of time. He doesn't need to steal your soul all at once. He just needs to steal your focus for 15 minutes, then an hour, then a whole day. I am telling you that the days are evil, and you must redeem the time. Every minute you spend in mindless distraction is a minute you aren't spending in my purpose. I am commanding you to evaluate your daily habits through the lens of eternity. I see you wasting your mana, the daily strength and opportunity I give you, on things that leave you feeling empty and frustrated. You scroll through the lives of others while your own life sits waiting for your participation. You worry about global events you cannot change while ignoring the people in your own house who need my love through you. I am inviting you to set apart a Sabbath of focus to reconnect with me. I'm not talking about a day of doing nothing, I'm talking about a day of doing nothing with me. I want you to reclaim your morning. Before the world gets a vote on your mood, give me your first thoughts. I want to set the agenda for your day. I want to show you who to talk to, what to prioritize, and what to ignore. I want you to understand your role in my current divine timeline. You are not here by accident, and you are not here just to pay bills and die. You are an ambassador of the Most High God, placed in this specific generation for a specific reason. I see the potential in you that you haven't even touched yet because you are too busy being average. I am calling you to a higher level of productivity, not for the world's sake, but for the kingdom's sake. What if you gave me the time you usually spend on entertainment? What could I build in your life? What could I heal in your heart? I am promising you that when you seek my kingdom first, I will take care of the everything else. I will give you back the years the locusts have eaten. I will make your time more efficient than you ever thought possible. I am declaring a season of divine focus over your life. I am breaking the addiction to the trivial and the temporary. I am opening your eyes to the eternal value of your days. I command you to take back your schedule from the hands of the enemy. Say no to the things that drain your spirit and yes to the things that build your faith. I see the dreams I put in your heart when you were a child, and I am telling you that it is not too late to start. But you must start today. Do not let another sun set on a life that is merely busy. Be fruitful. Be intentional. Be mine. I am your timekeeper, and I am guiding you into a rhythm of grace where you accomplish my will without the frantic striving of the world. Come into my rest, and let us work together on the things that truly matter. My child, I want to talk to you about something that often feels like a heavy chain around your neck: your relationship with money and possessions. I see the anxiety that keeps you awake at night, wondering if there will be enough, or the secret pride that comes when your accounts are full. I am telling you plainly that the love of money is a root of many snares. It isn't the money itself, but the heart that trusts in the money instead of the provider. I see the spirit of mammon trying to claim ownership of your soul, making you believe that your security, your value, and your future depend on your bank account. I am here to break that spirit in your life today. I want you to live in the freedom of being a steward, not an owner. I want you to recognize when stuff begins to own you. You work long hours to buy things you don't need to impress people you don't like, and all the while, your spirit is starving for my presence. I am inviting you to trust in my provision rather than your own resources. I am the God who fed 5,000 with a few loaves and fish. I am the God who brought water from a rock and manna from the sky. Why do you doubt that I can handle your mortgage or your bills? I am commanding you to stop being a slave to the system of this world. When you give, you aren't losing. You are investing in treasures that moths and rust cannot touch. I want you to be a river of my blessing, not a stagnant pond of hoarding. I see the fear that tells you to hold on tight to everything you have because you never know what might happen. That fear is a trap. It keeps you from the joy of generosity and the miracle of my supernatural increase. I am calling you to a life of radical trust. I want you to ask me how I want you to use the resources I have placed in your hands. I promise that if you are faithful with the little, I will make you ruler over much. But much is not for your luxury alone. It is for the advancement of my kingdom. I want to bless you so that you can be a blessing. I want people to look at your life and say, surely their God is real because of how they give. I am declaring financial freedom over your life, but it starts with a heart of surrender. I am breaking the power of debt and the spirit of lack that has haunted your family for generations. I am giving you a new mindset, the mindset of a king's child. You do not have to beg for crumbs, you have a seat at the table. I command you to put me first in your finances. Honor me with your first fruits, and watch how I open the windows of heaven over you. I see your needs before you even ask, and I am already working out the solutions. I am your provider. I am your Jireh. Stop leaning on the shaky ground of the world's economy and stand on the solid rock of my promises. I have everything you need, and I love to give good gifts to my children. Trust me with your stuff, and I will give you the true riches of my spirit. You not feel the urgency in my voice. We are navigating the depths of your heart together, and it would wound my spirit to see you abandon this conversation just as we are touching the roots of your bondage. I have set this time apart specifically for you, and to walk away now would be to reject the hand I have reached out to pull you from the mire. I am pleading with you, as a father who sees the cliff you are walking toward. Do not shut me out when the path to your restoration is finally being made clear. Your persistence in this moment is an act of reverence that I will not overlook. Stay, and let me finish the work I have started. My beloved, I want to invite you into a way of living that will change everything, the life of constant prayer. You often treat prayer like an emergency exit, something you only use when the building is on fire. But I am calling you to make prayer your lifeline and your early warning system. I don't want a ritual where you recite words you don't mean. I want a relationship where we talk all day long. I want to be the one you check in with before you send that email, before you answer that phone call, and before you walk into that meeting. I see the loneliness you feel, but you are never alone. I am right here, and I am waiting for you to include me in your reality. I want to teach you the power of breath prayers. These are the short, whispered conversations we have in the heat of battle. Lord, give me strength. Father, show me what to say. Spirit, calm my heart. These simple cries shift the atmosphere around your circumstances instantly. I see the way you try to handle everything in your own head, running scenarios and worrying about outcomes. That is praying to yourself, and it only leads to anxiety. I am inviting you to leave every worry at my feet. When you pray, you aren't just making a request. You are shifting the burden from your shoulders to mine, and I am more than strong enough to carry it. I want you to understand that your prayers are not just for you. I am calling you to be an intercessor, someone who stands in the gap for others. When you pray for your neighbor, your coworker, or even your enemy, you stay sharp in your own spirit. You begin to see people as I see them. You begin to love what I love. I see the power of your secret prayers, the ones you pray on your knees when no one is watching. Those prayers are moving mountains in the spiritual realm that you can't even see yet. I am commanding you to pray without ceasing. This doesn't mean you are always on your knees, but it means your heart is always tilted toward me. I am promising you a peace that makes no sense to the world. This peace comes from the constant connection to my spirit. I am your counselor and your friend. I am declaring that the prayer of the righteous is powerful and effective in your life. I am breaking the spirit of silence that has kept you from speaking to me. I am opening your ears to hear my response. Prayer is not a monologue, it is a dialogue. I have things I want to tell you about your future, about your family, and about my love for you. I command you to make space for my voice. Start your day with hello, Father, and end it with thank you, Lord. Let our conversation be the thread that holds your entire life together. I am always listening, and I am always ready to answer. My child, I want you to listen closely because the world around you has become a master of distortion. I see the moments when you feel like you are losing your footing because the voices of the age are trying to call my truth a lie and your faith a delusion. This is spiritual gaslighting, a calculated attempt by the enemy to make you doubt what I have clearly spoken to your heart. You hear them say that morality is relative, that my word is outdated, and that your devotion is nothing more than a crutch. I see the flicker of confusion in your eyes when you see the foundations of society shaking, and you wonder if you are the one who is wrong. I am here to tell you, stand on the rock. I am the rock that does not move with the tides of popular opinion or the shifting winds of culture. I am the same yesterday, today, and forever. And my truth is the only anchor that will hold when the storm of deception reaches its peak. I command you to refuse to be intimidated by the roar of the adversary. The enemy roars because he is desperate, not because he is winning. He uses the media, the classroom, and even the casual conversations at your workplace to try and write your history with me. He wants you to believe that the miracles I've performed in your life were just coincidences. He wants you to believe that the peace you felt in your darkest hour was just a psychological trick. Do not allow him to steal your testimony. I am your God, and I was there when you cried out in the middle of the night. I was there when the doctor gave the bad report and I turned it around. I was there when you didn't have a dime and I opened a door of provision. I am giving you the strength to keep your footing even when the world tries to push you off the path. Your conviction is not a sign of weakness. It is a sign of your connection to the divine. I want you to learn the difference between the conviction of my Holy Spirit and the condemnation of the devil. When I speak to you about a change you need to make, I do it with a voice of hope, leading you toward restoration. But when the enemy gaslights you, he uses condemnation to make you feel worthless and trapped. He tries to make you feel like you have no right to speak my name because of your past. I am telling you today that his accusations have no legal standing in my courtroom. I have already cleared your record. I have already called you righteous. When the world tries to shame you for your faith, remember that you are backed by the hosts of heaven. You are not a victim of a changing world. You are a light in a dark place. I am your stability. I am your clarity. I am the voice of truth that cuts through the static of the world's noise. I promise you that if you remain rooted in me, I will give you a discernment that others cannot comprehend. You will see the trap before it is sprung. You will hear the lie before it is finished being spoken. I am inviting you to a deeper level of confidence, a holy boldness that doesn't need the world's approval to be certain. Do not let them rewrite your story. I am the author of your life, and I say that you are a victor. I say that you are chosen. I say that my word is the final authority over your destiny. I command you to hold fast to what I have given you. Do not trade your eternal inheritance for a moment of worldly acceptance. I am with you. and I am the light that no darkness can ever extinguish. Walk with your head held high, knowing that the truth lives inside of you. My beloved, I want to talk to you about the sword you are carrying, or perhaps the sword you have left sitting on the shelf. I see you trying to fight battles with your emotions and your logic. But I am telling you that you cannot fight a spiritual enemy with human weapons. You cannot fight what you do not know. This is why the enemy works so hard to keep you too busy to read my word. He knows that a believer who doesn't know the scriptures is like a soldier who goes onto the battlefield naked and unarmed. I am commanding you to hide my word in your heart so that you might not sin against me. This is not about religious duty. It is about survival. My word is a lamp to your feet and a light to your path in these dark and confusing woods. Without it, you are just guessing your way through life. I want you to understand the difference between misquoting the word and meditating on it. The enemy knows the Bible too, and he loves to misquote it to lead you into error, just as he tried to do with my son in the wilderness. If you only know fragments of the truth, you are vulnerable to itching ear doctrines that feel good but lead to death. I am calling you to know the full counsel of God. I want you to eat my word until it becomes part of your very DNA. When you meditate on the scriptures, they expose the hidden traps of your own heart. They show you where pride is hiding, where bitterness is taking root, and where fear is trying to grow. My word is a mirror that shows you who you really are and a surgical tool that removes what doesn't belong. I am inviting you to make the scriptures your first response, not your last resort. You often try everything else first. You call a friend, you search the internet, you worry yourself sick, and then finally, when you are exhausted, you open your Bible. I am telling you to flip the order. Before you react to the news, see what I have to say. Before you make that financial decision, see what my wisdom dictates. I promise you that if you build your life on the foundation of my word, you will be like the man who built his house on the rock. When the floods come and the winds blow, and they will come, your house will stand. It will stand because it is anchored in the eternal, unchanging reality of my voice. I am giving you the keys to the kingdom, but they are found within the pages of my truth. I am declaring a new hunger for the word over your spirit today. I am taking away the boredom and the distraction that has kept you from the bread of life. I want you to wake up with a craving to hear what I had to say to you. I see the questions you have, and I am telling you that the answers are already written. I command you to set aside the digital noise and the opinions of men for a season, and let my word wash over your mind. It will heal your anxiety. It will sharpen your focus. It will give you a peace that makes no sense to those around you. I am your teacher, and I am ready to open the eyes of your understanding. Trust me to lead you into all truth. My word is the only thing in this world that is truly solid. Hold on to it, and it will hold on to you. My child, I see a weight you've been carrying for far too long, and I need to tell you that it is a poison to your soul. I am talking about the bitterness you have allowed to take root because of the way others have treated you. I know the pain was real. I know the betrayal was deep. I saw every tear you cried when you were mistreated, and I felt the sting of every word spoken against you. But I am telling you today that holding on to that anger is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. It is a strategic trap set by the enemy to keep you bound to your past. He knows that a root of bitterness doesn't just hurt you. It defiles many around you and blocks the flow of my blessings. I am commanding you to let go of the stones you've been carrying. You cannot climb higher while your hands are full of rocks you intend to throw. I want you to see forgiveness not as a feeling, but as a strategic move to regain your freedom. You don't forgive because they deserve it. You forgive because I have forgiven you and because you deserve to be free. When you refuse to forgive, you are essentially telling me that my judgment isn't enough, that you need to be the judge as well. I am asking you to hand the gavel back to me. Allow me to be the one who balances the scales of justice. I am the only one who sees the whole story. I am the only one who can truly bring restoration. When you release that person to me, you are stepping out of the prison of your own resentment. I am inviting you to a place where the enemy can no longer use your past to haunt your present. He feeds on your unresolved anger. Starve him out by choosing to love. I see the wounds that have turned into scars, and I am here to bring a healing that you cannot find in any therapy or any conversation. The healing power of letting go is only found in my presence. I am asking you to bring that person, that situation, before me right now. Do not wait for them to apologize. They may never apologize. Do not wait for them to change. They may never change. Your freedom cannot be dependent on the actions of someone else. I am your source. I am your healer. I am promising you that if you surrender your right to get even, I will fill that empty, aching space in your heart with a peace that you've never known. I will give you a beauty for those ashes. I will turn the pain of your past into a platform for your future testimony. I am declaring that the chains of bitterness are breaking off your life this very moment. I am removing the heaviness from your chest and the edge from your voice. I command you to breathe. Feel the lightness that comes when you stop trying to be the enforcer of justice in your own life. I see the people you've been avoiding and the memories you've been replaying. Stop. I'm making all things new. I am giving you a heart of flesh for that heart of stone. I am your vindicator, and I have seen every injustice. Trust me to handle it. Your job is to stay in my love. Your job is to walk in the freedom I purchase for you at a high price. I am your father, and I want my child to be free. Let it go, my beloved. Let it all go into my capable hands. My beloved child, I am sounding a clear warning for the hour you are living in. I need you to understand that not everything that glitters is of my spirit. We are in a season where many will come in my name, speaking words that sound spiritual and performing acts that look like miracles, but their hearts are far from me. I am commanding you to be a fruit checker. Do not be dazzled by the height, the lights, or the emotional intensity of a moment. I am asking you to look at the fruit. Is there humility? Is there love for the cross? Does the message lead people to me, or does it lead them to follow a man? I see the way you long for the supernatural, and that is a good desire. I am a supernatural God, but the enemy is a master of the counterfeit. He can produce an emotional high that feels like an encounter, but it leaves you empty the next day. I want you to understand that emotional hype is not the same as spiritual depth. You can have a mountaintop experience that is nothing more than a stirred-up soul, but I want to give you a transformation that reaches your spirit. Beware of itching ear doctrines, the messages that tell you only what you want to hear, that promise you a life without suffering, and that never mention the need for repentance. These messages are like candy. They taste sweet in the mouth, but they kill the body over time. I am calling you to stay grounded in the gospel of the cross and the resurrection. Any message that bypasses the blood of my Son is a message that has no power to save. I am the giver of the gift, and I want you to seek me more than you seek the gift itself. If you have the miracle but you don't have the miracle maker, you have nothing. I am inviting you to a place of spiritual maturity where you are no longer tossed around by every new wind of doctrine or every prophetic word that hits the internet. I see you searching for a word from man because you are afraid to wait for a word from me. I am telling you today that I am already speaking. My spirit is the internal compass that will alert you when something is off, even if you can't put your finger on why. Trust that nudge. If a message creates confusion instead of clarity, if it creates fear instead of faith, or if it contradicts my written word, reject it immediately. I am the God of order, not of chaos. I am the God of truth, not of sensationalism. I am promising you that as you stay close to my side, the counterfeit will become obvious to you. You will know the genuine because you are so familiar with my presence. I am declaring a spirit of discernment over your life that will keep you safe from the wolves in sheep's clothing. I am opening your eyes to see behind the masks and the fancy words. I command you to be a student of the truth. Do not be lazy with your soul. Do not let others do your thinking for you. I have given you my spirit and my word. Use them. I see the path ahead of you, and it is paved with my glory. But there are many side roads that lead to nowhere. Stay on the narrow path. Seek my face in the secret place, and you will not be deceived by the clamor of the world. I am your shepherd, and my sheep know my voice. I am calling you deeper, past the surface and into the heart of what is real. I love you too much to let you be led astray. Stay with me. My precious one, the hour is late and the deception in the world is thickening, yet you stand on the verge of receiving the final keys to your victory. It would be a tragedy to my heart if you grew weary now, so close to the finish line, leaving my promises unsealed in your life. I am looking for those who will watch with me until the dawn breaks, and it would grieve me to find you sleeping when the most vital warnings are yet to be delivered. Do not let the weight of your distractions steal this final moment of intimacy. I am about to speak the words that will anchor your soul forever. Stay focused, stay alert, and stay with me until the very end. You have been given the eyes to see the truth in an age of great deception, but with this revelation comes a divine responsibility to protect the flock. I am searching for those who will stand as pillars of support, ensuring that this pure, unadulterated word reaches the ends of the earth before the night falls. This is your moment to invest in the eternal, moving your treasures from the shaking ground of the world into the unshakable storehouse of my spirit. By supporting this channel through membership or a PayPal gift, you are fortifying the watchtower and helping me reach the lost who are currently drowning in the enemy's half-truths. I promise you that as you seek my kingdom first in your giving, your own supply will never run dry, and my favor will be a shield around your household. The harvest truly is plenteous, but the laborers are few. I am calling you to be the one who stands in the gap today. Go now to the link in the description, and let your generosity be a roar that silences the voice of the deceiver. My child, I am calling you to stand up and move from a spirit of timidity to a spirit of divine authority. I see the way you have been shrinking back, afraid to speak my name or stand for my truth because you fear the rejection of the world. But I am telling you that the world needs you to be salty and bright right now. A salt that has lost its savor is useless, and a light that is hidden under a basket helps no one. I did not call you to fit in. I called you to stand out. I am commanding you to take the offensive against the enemy's strongholds in your life and in your community. You are not a victim of your circumstances. You are an ambassador of the Most High God. I have given you the authority to tread on serpents and scorpions and over all the power of the enemy. It is time you started acting like you believe it. I want you to understand that holy boldness is not the absence of fear, it is the presence of a higher commission. Even when your voice shakes, speak the truth in love. Even when your heart is pounding, take the step of faith I have shown you. I see the pressure to be quiet about your faith, but I am telling you that silence in the face of evil is itself evil. I am your strength and your shield. Why are you afraid of what man can do to you? I am the one who holds your life in my hands. I am the one who has already defeated the powers of darkness. I am inviting you to realize that you are backed by the hosts of heaven. When you stand for me, you are never standing alone. There are more with you than there are with him. I am the Lion of Judah, and I am roaring through your life. I see the dreams and the callings I have placed inside you that have been dormant because you felt unqualified. I'm telling you today that I don't call the qualified, I qualify the called. Your boldness comes from my spirit, not from your personality. I am declaring that the spirit of mouse-like living is broken over you. You are a child of the King, and you carry a royal mandate. I am giving you a ton of the learning to speak a word in season to those who are weary. I am giving you a forehead of flint to stand against the opposition. I promise you that as you step out in boldness, I will meet you with miracles. A Red Sea didn't part until the feet of the priests touched the water. Your breakthrough is waiting on your boldness. I am commanding you to reclaim the territory the enemy has stolen from you, your peace, your family, your health, and your purpose. Stop asking for permission from the world to be who I made you to be. I have already given you the keys. Now go and open the doors. I see the impact you are meant to have, and it is far greater than you have imagined. I am your rear guard and your commander. I am declaring a season of unapologetic faith over your life. You will no longer apologize for my word. You will no longer hide my light. You will walk with the confidence of one who knows they are loved by the Creator of the universe. I am with you. I am for you. And I am leading you into a victory that the world cannot understand. Rise up, my beloved warrior. Your hour has come. My child, I see the exhaustion that has settled deep within your bones, and I know that this is more than just a physical tiredness. It is a weariness of the soul. I see how you have been running, trying to do my work, trying to be a good parent, trying to be a faithful servant, but you have been doing it all in your own strength. You are falling into the enemy's subtle tactic of wearing out the saints. He knows that if he cannot make you fall into a great sin, he will simply exhaust you until you no longer have the energy to resist his smaller traps. I see you looking at your life and wondering why the joy has faded, why the prayers feel heavy, and why the service feels like a chore. I am telling you today that your oil is running low, and you cannot keep giving from an empty vessel. I am commanding you to stop and recognize the signs of burnout before you collapse. I want you to find your rest in my presence, not just in your sleep. You can sleep for 10 hours and still wake up with a heavy heart if your spirit hasn't found its rest in me. I am inviting you to pull away to the secret place. I see the guilt you feel when you think about taking a break, as if the world will stop spinning if you aren't the one pushing it. Let me remind you, I am the one who sustains the universe, not you. I am the one who holds your family together. I am the one who provides for your needs. Why are you acting as if the burden of the world is on your shoulders? Doing my work without my spirit is a dangerous trap that leads to bitterness and resentment. I am calling you to come away with me. I am the shepherd who leads you beside the still waters to restore your soul. I am not asking for your productivity right now, I am asking for your heart. I see the pressure you put on yourself to keep up with everyone else. You look at others and think you should be doing more, achieving more, and praying more. But I am your Father, and I am not a taskmaster. I am the one who said, "Come unto me, all ye that labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest. My yoke is easy, and my burden is light." If the life you are living feels heavy and grinding, it is because you are wearing a yoke that I did not give you. You are wearing the yoke of people-pleasing, the yoke of perfectionism, or the yoke of not enough. I am commanding you to cast those off today. I want to give you fresh oil. I want to renew your strength so that you can mount up with wings like eagles. I want you to run and not be weary, to walk and not faint. But this only happens when you learn the rhythm of grace, the rhythm of working from a place of rest, not for a place of rest. I am promising you that I will be the wind beneath your wings. I am declaring a season of refreshment over your life. I am breaking the cycle of constant striving that has left you feeling brittle and old before your time. I see the dreams you've let go of because you were too tired to hold them. I am picking them up for you. I am breathing new life into your weary spirit. I command you to set boundaries. Say no to the things that drain you without filling you. Say yes to the quiet moments with me. I see the beauty in your persistence, but I want you to persist in my power, not your own. I am your rest. I am your refuge. Come and sit at my feet, and let me tell you how much I love you, apart from anything you do for me. You are my child, and your value is in who you are, not what you produce. Let me fill you back up until you overflow. My beloved, I want to talk to you about the spiritual uniform you must wear every single day. I see you stepping out into the world spiritually naked, wondering why you are so easily bruised by the words of others or why the arrows of doubt pierce you so deeply. You are in a real war, and you cannot go into battle without your equipment. I am commanding you to put on the full armor of God. This is not a metaphor, it is a daily necessity of your spirit. I want you to check the fit of your breastplate of righteousness. The enemy loves to attack your heart with accusations and shame, telling you that you are a failure. But my righteousness is your protection. When you wear it, the arrows of condemnation bounce off because you know that your standing with me is based on what I have done, not on what you have done. I want you to fasten the belt of truth around your waist. In a world of gaslighting and lies, the truth is the foundation of your stability. It holds everything else together. If your life feels like it's falling apart, check your belt. Are you believing my truth, or are you believing the world's facts? I am giving you the footwear of the gospel of peace. I want you to be ready to move, to be steady on your feet, and to bring my peace into every chaotic environment you enter. Whether you are in a boardroom, a kitchen, or a hospital room, your feet should be shod with the readiness to share my love. I see the places where you have slipped because you were trying to walk in the world's shoes. Throw them away. Walk in the path I have prepared for you, and your footing will be sure. I want you to take up the shield of faith. As we have spoken, the fiery darts are coming, but your faith, your absolute trust in my character, will extinguish every one of them. Do not leave your shield behind because you feel strong today. You are strong only when you are behind me. Put on the helmet of salvation to protect your thoughts. The mind is the primary battlefield. If the enemy can control your thoughts, he can control your life. But when you wear the helmet of salvation, you filter every thought through the reality that you are saved. You are mine, and you have an eternal hope that the world cannot touch. I am commanding you to take up the sword of the Spirit, which is my word. This is your only offensive weapon. Do not just carry it, use it. When the enemy speaks a lie, cut it down with the truth of what I have said. I am promising you that when you are fully clothed in me, you will be able to stand firm. You won't have to run from the enemy. He will have to run from you. I see the battles you have lost in the past because you forgot your armor. I am not dwelling on those defeats, and neither should you. Today is a new day. I am declaring that you are a well-equipped warrior. I am checking every piece of your armor right now, tightening the straps and polishing the metal. I am your commander, and I am telling you that you are ready. I command you to never leave the house without being covered in prayer and the word. I am your fortress, and I am the one who trains your hands for war and your fingers for battle. You are protected, you are empowered, and you are dangerous to the kingdom of darkness. Stand tall, my child. Your armor fits perfectly because I designed it just for you. My child, Our conversation is reaching a critical point, and I want to give you a summary of the red alert signs you must watch for. I see the areas where the enemy is still trying to set a trap, and I am giving you a final warning. If you feel a sudden pull toward isolation, if you find yourself making excuses for small sins, or if you feel a growing coldness toward my word, those are the sirens going off. Do not ignore them. I am providing you with a specific exit strategy from the temptations you are facing right now. The way out is always toward me. It is not found in more willpower. It is found in more surrender. I am commanding you to call upon the name of Jesus as your immediate rescue. When the pressure is too high and the walls are closing in, that name is the only one that can break the atmosphere of the enemy. I want to remind you of the role of the church body in keeping you accountable. You were never meant to be a lone wolf. The enemy loves to catch the sheep that wanders away from the flock. I see your pride telling you that you don't need anyone, but I am telling you that you need the brothers and sisters I have placed around you. They are my hands and feet to help you stay on the path. I am inviting you to take the first step of obedience before the sun sets today. Do not let this conversation be just a nice feeling that fades away. Action is the only proof of faith. If I have told you to apologize, do it now. If I have told you to give, do it now. If I have told you to quit, do it now. The window of opportunity for obedience is often shorter than you think. I am commanding you to commit your path entirely to my sovereign will. Stop trying to keep a plan B in case I don't come through. I have never failed, and I am not going to start with you. I see the anxiety you have about the immediate steps, but I promise you that the light for the next step will appear the moment you lift your foot. You don't need a map of the next 10 years. You just need to listen to my voice for the next 10 minutes. I am declaring that the red alert in your life is being replaced by a divine reset. I am closing the doors you should have walked through and bolting them shut for your own protection. I am opening the windows of heaven to give you the wisdom you need for this specific hour. I promise you that as you take these immediate steps, the heavy fog over your life will begin to lift. You will see things with a clarity you haven't had in years. I am your guide, and I am taking you by the hand. I command you to leave your past at the altar. Do not try to carry your yesterday into your tomorrow. I am the God of the now, and I am doing a new thing. Can you not see it? It is springing up even as we speak. I am your deliverer, and I am your peace. Take that step, my beloved child. The ground will be solid beneath you because I am the one who placed it there. Trust me, I have already planned the victory celebration. My beloved child, look at how far we have come. I see the change in your countenance, the light returning to your eyes, and the strength returning to your heart. This is the peace that comes to those who remain alert. You have chosen to listen, to watch, and to pray, and I am telling you that your vigilance has not been in vain. The reward for those who endure to the very end is greater than anything you can imagine. I am promising you right now that I will never leave you nor forsake you in the battle. Even when the world is in chaos and the traps are being set, you can rest in the absolute certainty that you are safe in the palm of my hand. You have become a watchman, not just for your own soul, but for those I have placed in your care. I want you to enter into the joy of your Lord as a faithful servant. I see the many times you wanted to give up, the times you felt like the trap had already closed on you, but you kept looking to me. That faithfulness is being rewarded this very moment. I am declaring the final defeat of the enemy and all his traps in your life. What he meant for your harm, I have already turned for your good. The very pit he dug for you has become the place where he himself has fallen. I am inviting you to rest in the eternal safety of my kingdom forevermore. This victory is not a temporary truce. It is an everlasting triumph. I have already overcome the world, and because you are in me, you are an overcomer too. I see the future I have prepared for you, and it is resplendent with hope. There will still be battles, yes, but you will face them with a different spirit. You will face them as one who knows the outcome. I am commanding you to keep your lamp lit and your eyes on the horizon. I am coming soon, and I want to find you watching and waiting with joy. I am your reward. I am your home. I promise that every tear you shed in the secret place will be turned into a crown of joy. Every struggle you endured will become a jewel in your testimony. I am your God, and I am so proud of you, my child. You have heard my voice, you have avoided the snare, and you have stayed the course. I am declaring a final blessing over you. I bless your mind with my peace. I bless your heart with my love. I bless your hands to do my work, and your feet to walk my path. I command the atmosphere around you to remain clear and holy. You are a beacon of my light in a dark world, and many will find their way home because of the light they see in you. Rest now, my beloved. The watch is not a burden when you are watching with me. We are together, now and forever. The traps are broken, the chains are gone, and you are free. Enter into my presence and stay here. This is where you belong. I love you with an everlasting love, and nothing will ever pluck you out of my hand. Amen. My beloved watchman, you have stood with me until the end of this message, and now I am calling you to leave a legacy of light that outlives your own breath. The victory we have celebrated today is meant to be shared with every soul still caught in the snares of fear and worldly bondage. I am inviting you to extend the reach of my voice by sowing a final, high-impact seed through Super Thanks or our membership family. Your gift is the manna that sustains this ministry, allowing us to sound the alarm across the nations and pull my children out of the fire. I declare that because you have been a faithful steward of this time-sensitive warning, you shall walk in a double portion of my provision and protection. Malachi 3:10 is my living promise to you. Test me now, and see if I will not rebuke the devourer for your sake. I command you to take action this very second. Click the link in the description, and let your seed become a weapon of mass restoration in my hands. My child, the moment of decision is upon you, and your response in this hour will echo through your eternity. Do not merely listen to my warning. Seal it by making a bold, public declaration that the enemy's traps have no more power over your life. I command you to step out of the shadows and testify right now by commenting, I am alert, I am free, and I am walking in my divine purpose. By typing these words, you are legally breaking every ungodly tie and locking the gates of your heart against the thief who seeks to steal your time. Do not wait for a more convenient season. Your yes today is the spark that will ignite the fire of my transformation in your home and your destiny. Declare it now, for the hosts of heaven are watching, and I am ready to pour out a blessing that no snare can ever hold back. Amen.